on there. No kidding. Well. Happy first day of spring as we greet you from the Canadian Midwest, Winnipeg, Manitoba, as the San Jose Sharks' last long road trip of the year continues. For the final time, the Sharks come to Winnipeg Arena to meet the playoff hopeful Winnipeg Jets. Hello again, everybody. I'm Randy Hahn. Welcome to Winnipeg. This will be our final visit here, of course, with the Jets headed to Phoenix next season. And for the San Jose Sharks, stop number 3 of a 4-game road trip and a very tough one. And with the Sharks out of the playoffs, they're relegated to the role of spoilers. And they tried to do exactly that on Monday night in Boston. Stop number 2. Let's look at the highlights of that game brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi. It is the most exciting play in hockey, the penalty shot, and we had one on Monday. Rick Tocchet of the Bruins against Jock Sargent, who made a great save. Sargent, the hero for the moment there. Sharks were down 3-0, though, but in the third period, they rallied. Victor Kozlov with the nice goal to beat Bill Ranford. Then on the power play, Jan Shalhoub, his first NHL goal on his first shot in his first game, and it was 3-2. And then the Sharks would come all the way back. After the initial stop by Ranford, Jeff Odgers, crashing and flying through the crease, ties it up, and the San Jose Sharks stole a point in Boston. Final score 3-3. Well, the trade deadline in the NHL came and went at 3 o'clock Pacific time today, and the San Jose Sharks dipped their toes in the trade waters one more time. Winger Kevin Miller traded today to the Penguins for a 5th-round pick in this upcoming draft, plus future considerations. And you see his stats as a San Jose Shark. Pete Stemkowski is here in his old hometown. And Pete, the Sharks are done trading, at least for now, but you've got to think Dean Lombardi will have more things to do in the offseason.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of work to do in the summer months, but you know what this does is this clears the decks for the younger players on the Sharks to play. You get some of these older guys that are gone. You only won 16 games in 72 games, so there's got to be some changes here. So you got the guys like Kozlov, Shalhoub, and Belton, and they'll see a lot of ice time the rest of the way.
And the Sharks pulled off a trade Monday as well, as you're no doubt aware. And Darren Turcotte will make his debut as a San Jose Shark tonight and to face the former Shark Craig Janney, two centers.
Yeah, Janney could score goals. There's no question about that. Move him out for a guy named Darren Turcotte, both about the same age, both have played at 4 teams in the National Hockey League. Janney, look at his numbers with the Sharks. Played 98 straight games. He certainly could put points up on the board, so he'll be a loss offensively, but I think Darren Turcotte will provide a little plus, a little speed for the Sharks.
And someone we haven't seen in goal for a long, long time for the San Jose Sharks, Arturs Irbe, will make his first appearance since back in November. He will be the starting goalie tonight for the San Jose Sharks against the Winnipeg Jets. So the Sharks will try and steal a point from the Jets, who are trying to hang on to that number 8 spot. And tonight's game is brought to you in part by Great Western family of companies, now backed by over $44 billion in assets. Great Western will always be there. By Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every seat of every flight, everywhere it flies. The low-fare airline. By cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool. By the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. It's the Sharks on the road tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. And we'll be back with the opening face-off coming up.
Pushing 10 to 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this
Roll
game.
commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there. He's on Lucy.
What? I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal.
Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that play?
Says there's nothing good on TV.
The harshest winter in years is almost over, so crawl out from under your electric blanket because the Toyota Spring Rush is on. If you rush into your Toyota dealer, you can see tough new trucks, like the Tacoma 4x4. You save big bucks with low 1.9% financing on a T100, or even pick up a Tacoma with a 1.9 APR. But hurry, these offers wait for no one. Tail-kicking trucks and values to match. Wow, what a rush.
Can either of you think of something that's not here in the Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages?
A boyfriend?
A boyfriend? There are all kinds of ways to approach the problem, you have to admit, here in the Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages.
Well, I'll study my book.
For example, here in the local talk section, you could dial up your horoscope and see if it's a good day to meet someone or not. Know what I mean? No secrets here now.
Have a good financial outlook. Don't think about too many things at once.
Uh-huh.
Well, nothing about a boyfriend.
Nothing but a tall, dark-haired stranger come into your life today? Well, unfortunately, it's not in here.
It doesn't
exist. At least till I find out about your financial outlook.
Bill, first the roses, then the earrings, and now my favorite, pizza. How am I ever going to thank you?
Well, actually, it's Salute Pizza from Round Table. Yeah, it has 25% less fat.
So you think I'm fat?
Presenting a variety of healthier Salute pizzas with more toppings and 25% less fat, including the new Salute chicken and garlic.
So, call me, okay?
Round Table, the last honest pizza.
Spring has sprung here in Winnipeg. Snow starting to melt as we get set for Sharks hockey here from Manitoba. In goal, Nick Buehlen for the Jets, his 43rd game of the year. He's 120, has a couple of shutouts as well. He's had a strong season for the Jets. And Arturs Urbe makes his first appearance since November. It'll be just his 14th of the year as he comes off the long injury, rehab, etc. And Urbe in goal as we are underway. The Sharks' final visit here to Winnipeg in their final game this season against the Jets. Dave Manson chasing Jeff Odgers into the corner. Jamie Baker plays it back up the boards, but it comes out, and we'll have a face-off up near the blue line. Pete, your keys tonight.
Well, the trading deadline is over. This could be a key around the National Hockey League. The Sharks can relax, go out and play hockey. The defense for the Jets, they give up a lot of goals. Get on their defense, pressure them, and when in doubt in the offensive zone, nobody to give it to. Drive that puck towards the net. You never know, it might go in.
And Pete's Keys brought to you by Volkswagen. Test drive the all-new 1996 Volkswagens at your local Volkswagen dealer. Drivers wanted. Craig Janney, the newest Winnipeg Jet, out there at center ice against his former team. Just 2 days ago, he was wearing teal. Now he's in the Jets' white, red, and blue. Puck back to Jay Moore at the point for the Sharks. Gets it to Chancel. His turnaround shot goes high over the net and behind Buehlen. Now back for Chancel. He'll dump to the corner for Odgers. Nice play to Baker. Jamie tried to give back for Chancel, but it comes to the right wing side, and the Jets' Mike Stapleton comes through center ice.
A good start for that Jamie Baker line. That's the way they like to play. Dump it in and get on top of it. So that was a good opening shift for the Sharks.
Victor Kozlov shot. Owen Nolan after the rebound. It was tipped away. Now the rookie Shane Doan for Winnipeg. Doan from center ice flips it in. Urbe swings at it, but it bounces over his stick to the corner. Now Ulf Dahlen out there with it, and he'll lose it. A shot right on. Urbe with the save as he stopped Igor Korolev. Now the Jets hold it in. Doan is hammered to the ice by Yves Racine. Big open ice hit by Racine as he goes behind the net to get the puck. And now Doan runs into Racine in the corner.
Well, Racine really caught Doan with his head down and really leveled the youngster.
Alexei Zhamnov is tripped, and we've got a penalty.
Well, you know what this game means to the Winnipeg Jets. They are battling for a playoff position, so they're going to come out hard. And Shamnoff, one of the exciting players that the Winnipeg Jets have, he just skirts on through the defense and gets that step. And with that kind of speed, if you turn your head on him and give him that stride, he's going to go right through. Look at the middle of your screen right there. A couple of defensemen there, but I think Racine was near the end of a shift there, and Shamnoff got a stride on him, and Racine just reached out and knocked him down for the Winnipeg Jets' first power play coming up here early in the first period.
Well, on the penalty kill side of things, the Sharks are dead last, 76.2%, 26 out of 26, as they will try and kill off this Yves Racine tripping penalty against the 9th best power play, although the Jets, despite having 70 power play goals, are tonight without their top power play scorer, Keith Tkachuk, who's sitting out the second game of a suspension. Dumped in by Tverdovsky, and the Sharks' Owen Nolan gets it deep in his end. Back for Marcus Ragnarsson, and he'll flip it clear.
Well, you talk about Tkachuk being out. He's got 18 power play goals. Also, Ed Olchuk not playing in this game. He has 16 power play goals for the season.
Here's Dave Manson with the Jets on a power play. Up for Dallas Drake at the line. Now Urbe ventures out of the goal and gives it away. Here's Drake, but he doesn't have time to set up. And Ragnarsson able to get it out of the line, but not a good omen for Urbe on his first touch of the puck. He turns it over. Hopefully he'll settle in here as he makes his first appearance since back on November and that game against Detroit when Igor Larionov scored a penalty shot against him. Teppo Numminen to Manson. His shot tipped by Drake. Urbe's looking back. It came free just as Korolev came to the front of the crease, but whistled down by referee Paul Dvorsky.
Well, it's important that Artur Zerbe gets some shots early. It's important that he stops them. He hasn't played in, look at that, almost 4 months. Artur Zerbe's been skating the last 10 days or so, and he was anxious to get in there, so it's going to be a big test for him tonight. Here's Manson shooting the puck. Look at Drake in front of that. Everybody looks back for a second, not knowing where it is, but the referee, Paul Dvorsky, lost sight of that puck, and when you do that, the referee blows the whistle, and still 57 seconds left here in the Jets' power play.
Janney against Jamie Baker in the face-off circle. Linesman Mark Wheeler saying something to Baker, and Jamie is going to have to leave.
Now, Jamie likes to make that turn. He likes to turn that body and get it into the corner. Some linesmen will let him get away with it. Not letting him get away with it on that particular occasion.
And Janney wins the draw back to Norm McIver. McIver, the dish back to Janney, and now the former Sharks center on this power play for the Jets. Shot saved by Urbe, no rebound. Darren Shannon was right there. Sikora quickly occupied him, and Urbe tested with his first big save of the game as we look at Janney.
Well, you know, mixed emotions when you get traded, and I'm sure he's not happy about this move. Pretty settled in the San Jose area, but he will help this team offensively. And talk about the Jets. They want to make the playoffs, and they feel that the veteran and the leadership and the experience that Janney has, he'll get him into that 8th final spot.
Craig Janney saying about the trade that he was a little surprised. He'd heard that the Jets were interested in him, and more than anything, he said he's looking forward to playing in games that are important again. The Sharks haven't been in games of substance for quite a while now, and the Jets trying to hold down that number 8 playoff spot, and every game for them is critical now. They lead Anaheim by just 1 point for that number 8 spot, and interestingly, the final game of the year for the Jets will be in Anaheim. Boy, wouldn't it be something if it came right down to that?
That's already circled on the schedule, I'm sure, for both teams.
Here's Alexei Zhamnov now as he plays it behind the net. 12 seconds to go in the penalty. McIver up high, gives off to Zhamnov. Watch out for number 10. He can light it up, but it comes back to Numminen. His shot, glove save by Urbe as he makes his 3rd save off the power play, and just 1 second left now in the Racine penalty.
This is good start for Artur Zerbe. He's made 3 saves so far in this hockey game, and here's the power play setting up. Janney getting that puck back to the point. Here comes the shot from the point. Number 27, Teppo Numminen letting it go. You see Zhamnov there and a couple of Jets in that area, but Artur Zerbe so far has been perfect in the early going.
16:20 left in the period. And Chad Kilger, the former Mighty Duck of Anaheim first-round draft pick, in to take this draw as Marcus Ragnarsson needs some work on his stick, and he gets permission from the linesman to go over to the Sharks bench and get some new equipment. There's Marcus getting a brand new blade.
Talk about Chad Kilger taking this face-off, only 19 years of age. I used to play against his father in the Ontario Junior Hockey League 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, right. Bob Kilger played in the league for 10 years. Repped in the league, too. Here's Turcotte. He didn't play in the league, he repped. He played against you.
Yeah.
Here's Bodger, and his shot goes off Denny Chassé. Now Javi Buell in a little trouble with it behind the net, but Dave Manson is there to pick it up. Manson, the pass ahead for Chassé. He couldn't bring it in, and Bodger will fire it around again. Darren Turcotte out there now for the Sharks, wearing number 47 tonight. He will switch to number 9 maybe as early as Friday when the Sharks wrap up this road trip in Calgary against the Flames. Trouble down low for the Sharks, a chance in front. King with a backhander, and that went wide. As Chris King had Kilger with him and a great opportunity in front. It's cleared back down by the Sharks with 4.5 gone here in the first period of the scoreless game. Ragnarsson jumps in. Now Newman back for the Jets. Pressure from Jeff Friesen, but he gets it up to Korolev out of the zone. And as Tom Peterson races back, we have an icing call against the Jets with 15:09 left in the first period from Winnipeg.
Hey, kid, what's the celebration about?
Fun fairs. Yeah, fun fairs.
Oh, you mean Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29, huh?
Exactly. Hey, use a coaster.
And you can fly to lots of fun Southwest places, right?
Oh, yeah, lots of places.
So where are you going?
Nowhere. My folks already left.
Right. Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29. It's your chance to get away. You might want to call before you come home.
Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
This Sharks game from Winnipeg is brought to you by American Express.
Well, it was the newest San Jose Shark joining the team yesterday. Darren Turcotte. I mean, good hands, provides a little bit more speed that the Sharks are looking for upstairs. He's good quality center iceman, working on his defense, but the Sharks are looking for his size and speed, and I certainly is going to provide some speed to go along with what Jeff Friesen provides in that area.
And Craig Janney standing in now against Jeff Friesen. Draw comes back to the Jets out of the corner. Norm McIver checked off the puck. Sean Donovan plays a weak backhander into Javi Buell, and the Jets will clear it to center ice. Here's Donovan again, takes the wide turn at center ice and gives to Friesen. Jeff Friesen pulls back on McIver, now throws it across, and hit a stick and comes out. Chris King up to pressure Ragnarsson. Dave Brown on the ice getting a touch of the puck and sending it into the Jets zone. Jets are winless in their last 5 games, 4 losses and a tie. They're coming off a 3-0 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers back on the weekend, so they have been off for a few days, and as we mentioned, without their top player, Keith Tkachuk, who got a 2-game suspension for a slash on Toronto's Dave Ellett last Friday. Now it's kept in the Shark zone, played behind the net. Irbe will steer it over to Chris Cancel. Cancel to Baker, now to Odgers. Alone at center ice, he dumps it in, and he'll go chasing after it, but Teppo Newman gets there first. His pass for Korolev, out of reach, and Sikora will touch it for icing. Well, let's look at the Western Conference playoff race, and it is really heating up. Winnipeg right now holding down the number 8 spot, a point better than Toronto and Calgary. But look at Anaheim. They have climbed to within 1. And look at Edmonton. They are 3-1 on a 7-game road trip, including that win over the Sharks a week ago. And the Oilers are now just 3 points out, or 4 points out of the playoff picture. And anything can happen. And Terry Simpson, the head coach of the Jets, really has to keep the focus on every period, never mind every game.
You try to look ahead and catch those guys ahead of you in the standings, but you also got to look in that rearview mirror and see those teams closing in on you from behind.
Yeah, it's really going to be a close finish in the West. Big check on Owen Nolan in the corner as he was hammered by Darren Shannon, and Shannon got up a little high as well, and I think Owen just took down that number.
Yeah, we'll see how Nolan reacts to that.
Eastwood clearing it out over the glass for the Jets, and a stoppage as Owen Nolan really got popped in the corner that time.
Yeah, but, sometimes that's what a player needs to get himself back into the game. Owen Nolan, the guy you shake up a little bit, he doesn't see this coming. See, he's trying to handle the puck right there. Having a little difficulty getting the handle on it, but here's Shannon coming in. Watch how high he goes. Actually, not bad. He gets those elbows and shoulders up a little bit. That could have been a penalty call, but that's a pretty good, solid hit right there by Darren Shannon.
Well, Nolan has seen his team change from beneath him. Here he gets it now in the slot, and a backhander turned aside. Ray Shepard, Craig Janney, Kevin Miller, all with other teams now. And it's cleared by the Jets' Teppo Numanen right at the net. Now Ragnarsson throwing a check, and we have an injured player, and it is Shannon.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, when a player throws his gloves off like that, could be seriously hurt. And I think he may have caught his knee as he went into that boards, and he went in crashing. Looked like he lost his balance and turned his knee on that particular play. And we'll see what the extent of this injury is, but that puck was dumped in, and he started to go in and do some forechecking. Watch what happens here. He goes in with Ragnarsson, and there goes that knee just buckling up as him and Ragnarsson kind of locked up there, and Shannon's knee just twisted, and he went right into the boards in that, and he is staying down there in obvious pain, and there you see him favoring his right knee. And look at that again, Ragnarsson, there goes Shannon in, both going after that loose puck, and there he loses his balance, goes crashing in, and he's skating out and skating to the bench under his own steam, so he's okay.
He just let out a deep breath, and I think that's the breath you let out when you test the knee with some weight on it, and it doesn't feel too bad.
Well, that looked a lot worse than it was, and when he threw his gloves off immediately, players know right away when they're seriously hurt. And he's okay, and they're just going to walk it off in that corridor down there, and I'm sure he'll be back in this hockey game.
As you saw Jim Wiley there on the Sharks bench. Sharks have a loss and a tie so far on this road trip, losing in Philly and then having the great third period Monday night to come from behind and tie Boston. Here's Nolan with Ulf Dahlin and Victor Kozlov. Dahlin dumps behind the net for Kozlov. Couldn't quite get to it. Now kept alive along the boards by Yves Racine, and a hand pass called by referee Paul Dvorsky. We'll step aside for a moment, come back to the peg.
In a network of computers, it's not the MIPS and chips and whatnot that's most important. It's what goes on between the people using them that makes them really powerful. A reminder from Sun Microsystems, the network computing company.
This is the latest video game we're developing, and this is our inspiration, my Volkswagen Jetta. $2.19 a month, excellent. When you write code for 15 hours straight, you gotta get out. The Jetta's a real German road car with plenty of room for 4 carbon-based life forms. It's got dual airbags, daytime running lights, and side impact door beams. Because in real life, there is no reset button. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, you can only get a cab.
Tonight's Sharks game from Winnipeg brought to you by Pontiac and the Silicon Valley Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement.
They're caught up there against his former teammate Jamnov on this draw.
And the Jets come out. The pass for Igor Korolev at center ice. Tip back. Irbe way out of the net. And Jamnov hammers it right back from the left point.
Turcotte out there with Pelton and Jan Shalom. Probably a couple of guys he never heard of until today.
I facetiously asked him before the game if he'd been following Shalhoub and Veltman's careers closely.
Yeah, right.
He sort of looked like, no, I don't think so. Maybe we'll follow them a lot more closely. Here's a shot by Korolev. Early the save. Doan was on the doorstep looking for the rebound, but Ragnarsson held him off as Turcotte cuts over the very familiar blue line for him. Now back come the Jets. Korolev with Doan and Zhamnov. For Doan, and he tried to knock it down, but it was off the ice and out of his reach. Zhamnov takes the wide turn, heads back into the Shark zone. Tried to stick handle around Jay Moore. Now Zhamnov with it to the open man in front. And the shot by Stapleton dribbled out the stick. He didn't get much wood on that. He lost control of it.
He didn't know whether to deke him, to shoot it, or what. By the time he decided, he lost the puck.
He had time to deke, shoot, or grab a Polish sausage outside.
You just can't allow those kind of scoring opportunities there, though. Stapleton was wide open and nobody anywhere near him.
Sharks being outshot 6-2 here in the first period. 11-11 left to go as it comes around to Chris King. And the Jets captain can't get it out as Yves Racine holds it in. Now Racine gloving it down, trying to dump it down low to Jamie Baker. That wouldn't go. Kept in at the blue line, but the Jets will come back out. Here's Janney, and he's checked by Racine at the blue line. Jets went offside. Well, the trade deadline has passed, and whoever's with the Sharks now will be for the rest of the season. But look, since Sunday, all the moves. Janney to Winnipeg, of course, as we mentioned. Shepard to Florida. Kevin Miller went to Pittsburgh today. Jan Shalhoub up from KC. Joff Sargent went back down to KC today. And Darren Turcotte coming over from the Winnipeg Jets. It has been a very active week for the Sharks. Yeah. Dean Lombardi.
Yeah, and the travel agents.
Yeah.
And the phone company.
Yeah, the phone company had a very big day in the NHL today. Comes off the boards. And McIver gave it up to Tansel, but is able to clear it back down again. Herbe out of the crease to play it to Bodger. Bodger to Odgers. And Baker will get it out over the blue line. No score here in the first period. The 26th all-time meeting between the Sharks and the Jets, and it's been a close series over the last 5 years. Winnipeg with a very slim 11-9 with 5-tie margins, so they have just 2 more wins over the Sharks and San Jose over the Jets.
And the Sharks, always their history, man, they always play very well in this building. It's always a good, fast sheet of ice here in Winnipeg.
They played one of their most impressive road games ever here 2 seasons ago when they blew the Jets out. I got to think the 10-8 win in Pittsburgh this year will rank up, though, with Sharks road games in their all-time history. Sharks trying to get it organized here, but it's tipped past Ragnarsson at the blue line. Now Drake with Shannon and Eastwood. Shot saved by Herbe. Got the glove out and took it away from Dallas Drake.
So far, Herbe has been great, but the defenseman giving the puck up at the blue line. Can't have this 3-on-1 break. Dallas Drake had literally 3 options here. Here you see Kozlov coming back. Couple of guys, Ragnarsson looking for the late guys, and there's Drake. Got one guy over there that's open, but that was a good job of Victor Kozlov to come back. Here's the play at the point right here. Ragnarsson gets beat, but look how he breaks back. But look at the play by Victor Kozlov on the left of your screen. He comes back, evens up the numbers. Drake lets the shot go, and Herbe comes up with his 7th save of this hockey game.
Yeah, Kozlov pretty much took Shannon out of the picture, as you see Herbe now with 7 saves in the period in his first appearance since November 22nd, but he hadn't started the game for even longer than that. There's a shot tip. Herbe got his stick on that. He batted that one out of the air like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, that looked like it was heading in. Hey, that's good hand-eye coordination.
And Shannon tips it down low. Herbe has to have some confidence going for himself now halfway through the period as it comes back out of the Jets' control at center ice.
Well, that's so important for any goalkeeper, especially Artur Herbe. Getting some saves early in the game, making those stops. You feel real good about yourself.
Denny Chassé with near interception in the neutral zone. Jeff Reason giving Dave Manson some trouble, but the Jets come out with it. McKenzie dumps it in. Herbe trying to sweep that to the corner. Behind the net, McKenzie got away from Moore. Centers it. Saved by Herbe. as Tverdovsky walked in and had a clear look at the Sharks' net. We'll be back.
How does Shaquille O'Neal get fired up for a game? With the scorching new 4-alarm double-decker taco from Taco Bell. It's the hottest new way to bring soft and crunchy together in one big fiery taste. The new 4-alarm double-decker taco, only at Taco Bell.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
Get fired up for breakfast with a new Sun-Up sandwich with your choice of sizzling bacon or juicy sausage.
Extra selection, extra savings, extra value means the Escort Extravaganza at your local Ford dealer. Now through April 2nd, you get $1,000 cash back on a new Ford Escort, America's best small car value. Yeah, choose the popular 3-door or the sporty Escort GT and get $1,000 cash back from Ford. Plus save even more with special dealer incentives. It's the Escort Extravaganza with $1,000 cash back and special dealer incentives. Going on now through April 2nd at your participating Ford dealer.
Well, you're going to watch the acrobatics here by Artur Zerbe. They shot by the from the point. Look at Eastwood. Look where that stick is. That should have been a whistle. That stick was above the crossbar. Should have been a whistle. There's the shot. There's Eastwood. Look where his stick is. Above that crossbar. That should have been whistled down, but Zerbe came up with a good stop.
He just about poked Eastwood in the eye, too. Here's Chassé in front, taken away by Donovan. Now the Sharks speedster comes to center ice. He'll throw it at the net. Bobby Bulin turning it to the side. Dave Brown drives that one wide. Back to Sikora at the point. In for Donovan. Hits the back of the net. Hansen, a little trouble back there with Friesen. And Oleg Tverdovsky comes up with it for Winnipeg. Tverdovsky, the first-round draft pick of 2 years ago of Anaheim, who came over in the huge trade that sent Teemu Selanne to the Ducks. Here's a chance for Friesen. Walks in. It's saved. And then the net is knocked off.
That's a goal.
And that, I think, went into the net.
No question. It's a goal. It's got to be a goal. That puck entered the red line before that net came off.
I think they're going to go right upstairs. They're going to go right upstairs.
They have to because it's close enough. But
yep. Baldamorsky immediately pointed upstairs, so they're going to look.
Well, there's no question in my mind, and I know we're going to look at it again, that Jeff Friesen scores this goal. Watch the great speed that he gets. Gets a great pass. Now watch him coming in. Look at the shot. Watch the puck. Right there. There's the puck in the net, and then the defenseman rolling in there and dislodging that net. There's no question. Great pass. Donovan to Friesen. Stays wide. Uses the speed. Here's the shot. Look at the defenseman sliding on in. That's Craig Muni. Puck in. Crosses the red line. Watch the puck. Right there. Puck coming. Cross the red line. Bingo. No question. That's a goal. Sharks 1-0.
Craig Muni definitely punched it in with the glove as Friesen awaits, but it's got to be a Sharks goal. I can't see how they can call it any other way, and we'll just wait for it to become official, but it is a goal. So Jeff Friesen scores his 12th goal of the season, and the Sharks lead 1-0.
Well, that was a great play by Sean Donovan that took the defenseman with him. Friesen with good speed went outside. Donovan took the hit, but got the puck to Friesen, who went in and scored that goal to give the Sharks the 1-0 lead.
Well, because it went in off of Muni, there won't give an assist on the play to Donovan, but he did set the goal up with the pass to Friesen.
No, in some arenas, they give it to Donovan, and I'm not going to give him one.
I'm going to take a wild shot that if it was in San Jose Arena,
absolutely,
he'd have got the assist.
And if it was in Boston, when Phil Esposito was playing, he used to get assists sitting on the bench. But very happy, Jeff Friesen. It's nice to see him get that goal. And Sean Donovan helping out on that one.
Well, with the trade the last 2 days of Craig Janney and Kevin Miller, Jeff Friesen now the Sharks' second leading scorer behind Owen Nolan. Friesen now with 39 points, Nolan with 62. And we're back underway with the Sharks leading 1-0. Norm McIver ahead to Zhamnov. He fought off Jan Shalhoub's check and then fires it in. Here's Turcotte. And he'll lose the puck in the face-off circle. Doan try to take advantage, but the Sharks recover. Peltonen now to Turcotte. Nice wide move around Zhamnov, and he'll fire it in. Around it comes to Shalhoub. He's tied up by Doan. Puck taken by Zhamnov. Zhamnov with McIver, who went in prematurely and had to come back out. Now Bodger around to Peltonen. He'll just clear it to open ice. taken by Shalhoub, and he almost broke in. Muni just got back to recover for the Jets, but Shalhoub,
almost
with a little bounce his way, would have been in home free.
Sharks so far very good defensively. You saw Jamnov rushing that puck up the ice. There was 3 Sharks back there defensively.
Here's Chris King. He and Odgers bump. And now Craig Janney takes it back for the Jets. King trying to clear it deep, but he didn't get good wood. Peterson across for Tansel. He'll just touch it to the boards and down the ice. Manson getting back for Winnipeg. 6:20 left here in the first period. Sharks lead 1-0. Jamie Baker sends it to the corner.
Sharks got a lot of jump here in the first period.
Here's a turnover to Tansel. Wanted Odgers in the corner, but he had his hands full with Dave Manson. Now Moore keeps it going. That Manson will step up and get it the other way for Winnipeg to Janney. Couldn't control the pass, and Arthur Zerbe will glove it and hold it for a face-off in the Shark zone. Well, as we mentioned, Owen Nolan is the points leader now with 62, and goals, and assists, and power play points. So it's the Owen Nolan show as far as leading every category, and it's pretty much the Keith Tkachuk show for Winnipeg, with the exception of assists. Norm McIver with 41, but if you want to be technical, Craig Janney with 49 actually becomes their assist leader.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for pointing that out, Randy.
Yeah, those are the little things that I do in the room in the afternoon.
Exactly. Well, that's spare time.
Yep. Here's Darren Shannon. Can't get a good shot away as he miscontrolled it, and now Victor Kozlov comes back the other way. Owen Nolan goes back for it, sends it up for Dahlin. Jets trying to get it out and can't. Now here's Dahlin in the corner. Checked by Eastwood, still with it. Kozlov in front of the net as Owen Nolan battles with Newman, and it came to the front just as Kozlov moved behind the net to help out Nolan, and the Jets come the other way. Dallas Drake can't get by Jay Moore. Nice play by the Sharks defenseman.
That's where the defenseman can't miss that check. Jay Moore set up Dallas Drake, looked him in the eye, played the body, puck comes loose, Sharks able to clear the zone.
Now, you talked about it right off the bat, Pete. Everybody on the ice for both these teams has to feel a whole lot better that this trading deadline thing is over and done with, and maybe that has something to do with the jump tonight.
Yeah, I just see the weight lifting off the Sharks' shoulders. I mean, this is a team that, they're playing well so far in this first period. The uncertainty of who is going to go, somebody gets traded, you never know who's going to be next. There's all kinds of rumors. It affects these guys. The guy who came over here yesterday, Darren Turgot, and he was pretty popular here in Winnipeg, and here's what one of his teammates, actually his former teammate, Tamo Solani, had to say about Darren Turcotte.
Keeps it simple, it's fast, and good to play with. That's keeping it simple.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And Javi Bulin working it up the boards for Igor Korolev. Now Jamnov, nice job by Racine to take him out of the play, but Korolev trailing, has a man open in front. Bodger diving down, broke it up for the moment. Now Korolev back to Muni at the point. His shot deflected wide. Korolev after the rebound, and he's got it in the corner. And then it's intercepted by Donovan, and he'll play it clear. Friesen after it. He'll get to the puck first. Friesen, nice pull-up move out of the corner. Now looks for an open man. Trailing is Ragnarsson. He'll drop it back for Dave Brown. And now Jamnov gets away from Brown. But look at Friesen come back. And Jeff Friesen just forced Jamnov to make a turn. Then Jamnov lost the puck, and that was great defensive work by Friesen.
You can't throw that puck backwards like that when you got 3 guys deep and another defenseman coming in. You can't make that pass back. Dave Brown did that, but great defensive lay by Jeff Friesen coming back. He's been the best Shark on the ice so far in this hockey game.
And he has the only goal so far with 3:52 left here in the first. And we get a whistle at the blue line from linesman Mark Wheeler. And we'll step aside and come right back.
It's well known that Cellular One offers remarkably clear service from coast to coast.
Her father couldn't be here, so he's listening over the phone.
Oh, she sounds great, honey.
In fact, clarity could be why more people choose Cellular One.
Pass the ball over to Tommy.
Cellular One, the nation's #1 cellular service, clear across America.
Used to be a bank here. One day it was in business, next day it was gone. Well, if your bank is calling it quits and you're wondering what to do, switch to Great Western Bank. You'll find a 24-hour hotline, Saturday hours, all the conveniences. And right now, you'll even get free checking. So, if your bank is history, come to Great Western. They're still making history.
Coming up at the first intermission, we'll have an interview with New Shark center Darren Turcotte and the latest from around the NHL. Right now, back to Randy and Pete for the final moments of the first period.
And face-off coming just outside the Shark zone as the two involved in the trade, Turcotte and Janney, face off.
Janney won that face-off.
Irvay has that one bounce out of his glove.
Oh, did he lose that one in the Queen or something?
He didn't look like Barry Bonds there. Here's Turcotte. Nice move! Scores! Darren Turcotte, in his first game as a San Jose Shark, beats his old team, and the Sharks lead 2-0.
Well, one of the things that we said about Darren Turcotte when we were describing his play, that he brings team speed to this game, and he really showed it. And look how he's accepted by his teammates after scoring this goal. He does this one all by himself. Knocks the puck down. Look at this speed coming over the blue line. The puck through the defenseman, and then Buelen's drawn to one side, and he just shoots it along the ice to the far side. Look at this move on the defenseman. Good speed, cuts inside. The goalkeeper leaning over and just slides it along the ice into the net, and Darren Turcotte is making a 2-0 game for the Sharks. Great play.
17th goal of the year and first as a Shark at 16:32. Boy, did he ever undress Tverdovsky, and then Hobby Buelen committing way over to one side, just left enough of an opening for Darren Turcotte to score his first ever Sharks goal. Not a bad start, and a nice payoff for the Sharks so far on the trade from Monday, as Hobby Buelen will glove this with Tansel and Odgers both deep in the Winnipeg zone. Well, tonight's Sharks game is brought to you by Cellular One, the Bay Area's exclusive provider of digital cellular service.
You know, that's a good feeling when you join your team first game, score a goal against your former team. And that was a great move, and we talk about team speed. That's so important in this game, and he showed all of that on that play, just picking the puck inside his own blue line and going the rest of the way to put that puck in the net.
It is an unassisted goal for Turcotte, so each of the Sharks' goals in the game have been unassisted. Face off now in the Jet zone with 3:07 to go here in the opening period. 2-0, the Sharks lead as Baker gets the draw back to Odgers. Canceled shot, and Hobby Buelen kicks that aside. Jamnov brings it out now to Norm McIver at center, a 3-on-2 for the Jets. Nice knockdown by Michael Sikora to keep it out.
Those defensemen, especially with these speedy forwards for the Jets, you got to stand up with the blue line.
It comes around to McIver at the point. Now Korolev sending it back behind Irvay, who has stopped 10 shots in this period. And Jamnov can't keep it in along the line as McIver gets it back. Norm McIver pulling up, drops for Jamnov. Boy, does he ever initiate the offense. And his shot just wide, as Jamnov had Irvay way out of the net. Here's Korolev. Wanted Jamnov, blocked by Sikora, and the Sharks clear it out, and they'll change up.
Boy, Jamnov, ever so dangerous. You know, he's got that great acceleration. He looks like he's slowing down a little bit, then he puts on that speed at the last second, and the Sharks are going to really have to stay close to him in this hockey game.
Doug Bodger ahead for Dahlin. Sent back to the line. Mike Eastwood can't get it, and Dahlin will clear it into the zone. Jamnov was third in the NHL in scoring last year. And he's not having quite as good a season this year due to injury, but still an explosive player. That's the time left here in the first period. Approaching the 1.5-minute remaining mark. Here's Teppo Numminen, and he'll get it going up the right wing. With Dallas Drake and Darren Shannon, broken up by Dave Brown. Here's Kozlov across the line. Skates in, shoots. That one hit a skate in front. It went off.
Dave Brown,
yeah. Kozlov back to the middle. Gets it to Peterson at the point. He misses by a couple of feet, and Dallas Drake will get the rebound and play it back across the rink to Mike Eastwood. Here's Peterson. Nice steal. Now he'll get it off the boards. Tverdovsky there. The backhander by Peterson through the slot as we're down under a minute remaining in the first period. Manson waiting for Stapleton to catch up. Stapleton shot. Irbe to save. It drops down into his mitt, and he'll hold for a face-off. 50.5 left here in the first period.
Well, Artur Irbe has been perfect on 11 shots that have been directed his way so far in this hockey game. Looks steady, playing the angles well, squaring himself to the shooter, and getting some NHL action under his belt. When you haven't played at this level for 4 months, and he's got to feel pretty good about himself. But, I think the guys in front of him, Randy, have done a real good job defensively, and that's also important for a goalkeeper.
Janney and Turcotte doing battle again in the circle. And Darren Turcotte wins the draw this time, but King gets it right back, tries to wrap around. It came back off Irbe's skate out to the side. Stapleton sweeps it around to King. It rides the lip of the boards. Back down behind the net. Janney and King both there with Ragnarsson and Peterson. Janney centering pass intercepted by Tom Peterson, and he'll force it out. Hansen. Nobody on the other wing. Ragnarsson for the Sharks flips it in. And young Oleg Tverdovsky back on defense for the Jets. Gave it away. Eltonen. And he has Shalhoub with him. Jan Shalhoub looks to the front of the net. Turcotte's there. He'll unload. That one hit Manson, and Dave Manson goes down. He caught that one on the ankle.
On the side, too. He's hurting, limping to the bench.
Horn sounds to end the first period, and Artur Irbe, a perfect opening 20 minutes in his first appearance since November, and he got some support down at the other end as well. As we check the scoring summary brought to you by the United States Postal Service, we deliver for you. Jeff Friesen started scoring an unassisted goal at 12:09 for Jeff Friesen, his 12th of the year. And then Darren Turcotte, in his first game with the Sharks, scored at 16:32, his 17th of the season, also unassisted. And as the Sharks head to the dressing room, they lead the Winnipeg Jets 2-0 after a period. We send you now to our Cellular One studio and Robert Bronstein.
Thanks, Randy. Coming up during the break, the latest from other games being played in the NHL today, and we'll meet the Sharks' new centerman, Darren Turcotte, after this.
Hey, check out the Pontiac Sunfire roaring across sunny California. Now, guess how much extra the dual airbags, ABS, and CD player are? Go ahead, guess. We've got time. That's right, 0, nothing, the big O. And now you can get your new Sunfire for a great no back and forth value price that'll really stop you in your tracks. Sunfire is here. Test drive a real set of wheels you can really afford. Just $13,495 at your Silicon Valley Pontiac dealer today.
Philadelphia, birthplace of the Constitution and the cheesesteak. I secretly replaced the cheesesteaks at Tony's with my own. They're filled with juicy marinated steak, grilled onions and peppers smothered in melting cheese. Let's see if anyone noticed. How's that Philly cheesesteak?
Wonderful. The best. Hey, who ain't Tony?
I'm his brother, Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm a racetrack virgin, and it's my first time at Bay Meadows, so I decided to scope out the bars. Not those bars, those bars. When a voice out of nowhere says,
Bet him.
well, it's Dangerous Dan, and Dan is my ex. Not that I'm bitter, and I say him, and it says him, and I figure, Dan, one last chance. Well, guess what? He wins. Now my friends want me to buy the beers.
This Sunday, Fan Appreciation Day, first post 12:30.
Bay Meadows, it's a real run for your money.
Fry's Electronics is celebrating the grand opening of their newest store off 880 at Brokaw Road in San Jose. Enormous savings begin Friday at 10 a.m. Thousands of items below wholesale with prices good in all Northern California stores. Over $80,000 in prizes, including a grand prize Jeep Wrangler. Treat the family to lunch with Charlie Chip on Friday and Saturday, March 22nd and 23rd. It's the grand opening of Fry's Electronics at 880 and Brokaw Road. Celebrate and save. Your best buys are always at Fry's. Guaranteed.
Sharks wheeling and dealing again this week just before the trading deadline. The team losing Ray Shepard, Craig Janney, and Kevin Miller. The Sharks loading up on draft picks with the deals, but they also get a sharp-shooting, fast-skating veteran center in Darren Turcotte. Randy Hahn talked with Turcotte before tonight's game.
It's always disruptive when you are traded, but I guess it's a little easier when you just have to walk across the hall to join your new team. Darren Turcotte, welcome, and what was your reaction when you found out you were a Shark?
Well, it was tough. Our general manager in Winnipeg had come over to the dressing room in the morning and told everybody not to worry about trades, and if he was going to make them, they'd be for draft picks. And he gave me the call at 3:30, and I knew he wasn't just calling to say hello.
If you could generalize for us and describe your game.
Well, I've got to use my speed and my shot, and those are my two biggest assets. And
well, we're going to try that again a little bit later. Obviously, nothing like a shaky start for Darren Turcotte tonight. Did a great job scoring a goal in his first period as a San Jose Shark. This being the Sharks' 5th anniversary season, we put together some of the team's best moments over the first 4 years. Here now another 5th anniversary moment.
A debilitating back condition hastened an end to the brilliant 16-year NHL career of veteran defenseman Doug Wilson. He played in just 86 games for the Sharks, but he created immediate legitimacy for the franchise and gave them the kind of leadership and experience they were craving.
This is the story of twins, separated at birth. Doug went to California, where he uses the message center. Voicemail from Pacific Bell. Doug went to Iceland. No message center. Clients say Doug's hard to reach. He does spend a lot of time on the tundra. The message center pages Doug if he gets a message. It makes Doug's home office complete. He's never out of touch. Doug's home office has fleas.
Weeknights on the Discovery Channel. When you least expect it. Where you would never believe. What would you do for a meal? Every weeknight, all weekend, alone or with a group, underwater, in the air, on the run. Follow the food chain and see where it leads. Predators and prey on Wild Discovery. Every weeknight, always at 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
All right, let's try this again. Randy Hahn's interview with new Sharks center Darren Turcotte, taped just before tonight's game.
It's always disruptive when you are traded, but I guess it's a little easier when you just have to walk across the hall to join your new team. Darren Turcotte, welcome, and what was your reaction when you found out you were a Shark?
Well, it was tough. Our general manager in Winnipeg had come over to the dressing room in the morning and told everybody not to worry about trades, and if he was going to make them, they'd be for draft picks. And he gave me the call at 3:30, and I knew he wasn't just calling to say hello.
If you could generalize for us and describe your game.
Well, I've got to use my speed and my shot, and those are my two biggest assets. And I've been used in all types of situations, power play, penalty killing, and like I said, I'm a little bit more offensive than defensive, but I still pride myself in defensive play as well.
I was going to say, would you describe yourself as the type of center who would be more inclined to take a shot than make a pass?
I'd probably be more willing to take a shot than to pass, but sometimes I get in the other mode too, where I don't shoot enough. But I've talked to the coaches, and they want me to shoot the puck. They said some of the players seem to want to pass a little bit too much, so hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Clearly, I think it's not a surprise that the San Jose Sharks are looking for leadership in their organization. Do you feel that's something that you'll bring into the dressing room as well?
Well, I'm hoping to. I've been in the league 8 years now, and you know, I know San Jose's got some young players, and hopefully I can add some experience. They've got some good experienced players right now, and in Doug Bodger, Chris Terreri, guys like that, and it's just a matter of everybody coming together and developing a winning attitude.
Darren, quickly, I know you promised the Sharks you'll score goals like the one we're going to watch here every other night or so. You got a big goal against Detroit a couple of games ago.
Yeah, I just got some speed coming up the ice, and I try that move quite often. Sometimes it doesn't work, but when it does, it looks pretty.
Well, it sure did there, and I know San Jose Sharks fans won't expect that every night, but they're sure looking forward to you making your first appearance at San Jose Arena in a little while, and best of luck to you, and welcome to the San Jose Sharks.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the first game as well.
All right, Sharks center Darren Turcotte, the newest San Jose Shark. Robert?
All right, and Turcotte already delivering his first goal in his first period as a Shark tonight. Back to Winnipeg in a moment. First, here are the leading rookie scorers in the NHL so far.
Introducing the MGD Wide Neck. 16 ounces of cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. In a bigger bottle with a new wider neck, which should make getting to its smooth draft taste even easier. Now that ought to float your boat.
10 minutes? Perfect. I'll see you then. Ah, the bubbly. Thank you, buddy. Your door's up. 9 minutes. Close. Yes. I got a date in 4.5 minutes.
You're calling?
Hey! Well, just a technical problem.
Barry, what's going on in there?
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Bill, first the roses, then the earrings, and now my favorite, pizza. How am I ever going to thank you?
Well, actually, it's Salute Pizza from Round Table. Yeah, it has 25% less fat.
So you think I'm fat?
Presenting a variety of healthier Salute pizzas with more toppings and 25% less fat, including the new Salute chicken and garlic.
So, call me, okay?
Round Table, the last honest pizza.
The average human spends 84 days in hibernation, but the smart ones are coming out now because the Toyota Spring Rush is on now. If you rush into your Toyota dealer, you can choose from a veritable multitude of new Toyotas, like the wild new RAV4, the sophisticated but fearless 4Runner, the 25th anniversary limited edition Celica, and for that matter, even get a great lease on the Toyota you always wanted. Brand new Toyotas, special values, right now. Wow, what a rush.
First period highlights now brought to you by Jack in the Box Restaurants. Watch out, Mac. Jack's back, Stemmer.
Well, good period for the Sharks. Here you're going to see Jean Donovan clearing the puck. Look at how he draws the defenseman to him, takes the hit, then dishes off to Jeff Friesen, who's wide open. Here comes Friesen coming in. There's the puck knocked into the net right there. Great play by Jeff Friesen for the first goal of the hockey kick. Look at Manson trying to get the puck in deep, but Darren Turcotte is able to knock this one down. Look at the speed he uses coming through the neutral zone. Turns around the defenseman Tverdovsky right there and just slides it to the far side. And there you see the jubilation with Turcotte, 2-0 Sharks. Herbe very sharp in that first period. Look at the shot from the point up in the air. Eastwood there takes a swat at it. Look at Arthur Zerbe with that glove or that stick, just swatting that one before it rolls into the net.
Pretty impressive start to the hockey game for the Sharks, leading by 2. Robert?
All right, we're winding down the first period intermission. Back with more in a bit. First, here is the next game on the Sharks television schedule.
My owner works, and we leave the house at 7 in the morning and rarely get home before 5. And that's not sitting in parking lots. That's on the road, chugging and jiving and picking up the kids. and we drop things off. And thankfully, we use Chevron with Techron. It helps keep my intake valves clean and my emissions low. In car talk, that's big stuff.
No gasoline cleans your engine better than Chevron with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
Some places make you lug heavy items to the register. At Orchard, all you have to carry is this.
Then drive to the pickup station where they'll load it for you. Orchard, complete hardware and garden. Just go to Orchard. It's easy.
Hey, Sharks fan, it's time to team up. Now organize your CDs with Avery's new CD track storage system. The desktop file allows easy access to your CDs while protecting them from dust and scratches. And the patented notch sleeves and universal track system transfers and stores CDs safely and easily with any CD tracks unit.
A whole lot more than a stationery store.
One word in advertising always seems to get people's attention. Free! One teeny tiny word. Free! So when Great Western Bank wanted to offer something special for all those people who may be watching their own bank go away, we suggested the concept of free be used in the offer. They agreed. So if you have your paycheck direct deposited into a regular checking account, it will be, guess what? Free! Of monthly service fees. Call Great Western today. Why, even the phone call is free!
Time now for a quick look at scores from around the NHL. This segment brought to you by American Express. The Red Wings stay red hot 2-1 right now in the third over Toronto. Calgary and Chicago are scoreless in the first. Dallas has a 1-0 lead over Wayne Gretzky's team. Colorado and Los Angeles a 7:30 start. In the East Coast, Hartford and Montreal 1-1 tie in the third. And Boston has a 2-1 third period lead over New Jersey. Now let's go back to Winnipeg with Randy and Pete.
And we welcome you back to the capital city of Manitoba, Canada, Winnipeg. And set for the second period, brought to you by the Message Center. Voicemail for your home from Pacific Bell. By Round Table Pizza. Try one of the great tasting, healthier Salute pizzas. They're loaded with more vegetables and 25% less fat. By Pontiac and the Silicon Valley Pontiac dealers, we are driving excitement. And by Chevron. To reduce knocking and pinging, try Chevron Supreme with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter. Randy Hahn and Pete Stemkowski, we welcome you back to Winnipeg, where we are underway. With the second period, Sharks leading 2-0 on goals by Jeff Friesen and Darren Turcotte in his first game since Monday's trade to the Sharks. Puck in the Winnipeg zone, reaching out but unable to grab it was Stapleton. Now Craig Janney. Across the blue line, drop pass for Dave Manson. That got caught up in Jeff Tansel, and Tansel will wait and then dish to center ice. Here's Odgers and Baker, and the Sharks go offside as Odgers made that little move to the right side. Let's check the second period stats now, brought to you by Pontiac and the Silicon Valley Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement. Jets outshot the Sharks by almost a 2-1 margin and outchanced them 4-2. Just one penalty in the period. That went to the Sharks, but the Jets unable to capitalize despite getting 3 shots off all around, except for the fact that they were outshot. Good, solid period for Jim Whitey's team.
And, I think having Archer Zerbe in there, I think guys realize he hasn't played in that length of time, so they say, hey, we got to give that a little extra there. And he was sharp, and the rest of the team played very well in that opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, Zerbe made 5-6 solid saves in the period as it's slapped into the Shark zone, around to Darren Shannon. The bounce comes right to him. Now Eastwood with a shot, and that went wide. Owen Nolan back the other way up to Victor Kozlov. Kozlov across the line. Now the shot. Bobby Bulin the save. Newmanen trying to shake off Owen Nolan, gets it up the right wing to Eastwood. Mike Eastwood with Darren Shannon, and they call the Jets offside.
Oh, Nolan getting in there and doing some good forechecking for the Sharks, and he's the leading scorer, 30 goals, 32 assists for 62 points, and look at, he has pretty good success against the Winnipeg Jets. He's gone against them 8 times in his career, scored 5 goals. He's got 15 power play goals on the season.
And of course, one of the we talked about what Dean Lombardi is going to be doing in the offseason now that the trade deadline is gone. One of the things we'll be talking about a new contract for Owen Nolan, who has 1 year to go, but the Sharks would like to lock him up in more of a long-term nature, I think, and that certainly will come up in the offseason. Korolev on the near side against Peltonen, and Shane Doan gets it back up to Alexei Zhamnov. Zhamnov shook off the check from Shalun, but then lost it, and now Jan Shalun brings it out.
With Jan Shalun, or with Zhamnov, you can't look down at the puck on him, or he'll put it by you. Got to look him in the eye and play the body on him on every occasion.
A near break for Turcotte, and he had Shalun up almost at the other blue line, but the Jets are able to hold him off at center. Muni and Peltonen battle as it comes free to Zhamnov, the native of Moscow. He'll go off now as the Jets change on the go. Here's Darren Turcotte. Headman pass for Shalun. Shalun walks in, scores! Jan Shalun. Second goal in his second NHL game. 3-0 Sharks.
Gotta like the effort by Jan Shalun on this particular goal. Very persistent. Watch how he does not give up on this play. He's got somebody by him. He's got the puck right there. He keeps going. Puck drops at his feet. He beats Dave Manson and gets it up on the upstairs. Look how he's going. He's got 3 Winnipeg Jets in his area, but he keeps going, keeps the legs moving, gets that thing up to his backhand, and then roofs it upstairs. And in his second game as a Shark, he's got his second NHL goal.
And he scored his first goal in his first game on his first shot against Boston. So that'll always be in his bio from this point on. And you know, Pete, if you count the 3 goals in Boston, the Sharks have now scored 6 unanswered goals over their last 2 games.
This all started, that was a great third period in Boston the other night, and it's carried over here in the early goings of this game tonight.
And the puck comes along this side for Stapleton, and he will send it all the way down into the Shark zone. No icing indicated as Jay Moore has it behind the net. In the Shark zone now, it's Moore as the Jets change on the go. We're early in period 2, and it's the Sharks, Pete, who seem to be the team playing with a lot more urgency tonight rather than the Jets, who need points badly.
Well, they're skating, and they're playing very well defensively, Randy. They're covering up. The support systems are there. Guys are coming back. Defensemen able to stand up with the blue line. That makes the game easier for everybody.
Icing the call. It's 3-0 San Jose.
Situated in one of the most beautiful areas in the west foothills of Gilroy, above a challenging golf course surrounded by old oaks with spectacular views of the beautiful Santa Clara Valley, is Gill Properties, where we can build the home of your dreams to your specifications with financing available. Work in San Jose, play in Monterey, because you'll be just minutes from either, with lots priced from $160. Call Gill Properties at 408-243-0712 now and make an appointment to see Gill Properties.
Hilton presents Triple Miles. Now when you charge a qualifying stay with an American Express card, you'll earn triple miles every second stay on 11 major airlines. Triple miles, only with Hilton and American Express.
Make every vacation a national holiday with National's low vacation rate. Go skiing. There you go. Or take a break and just relax.
Make your vacation a national holiday. Call your travel agent or 1-800-CAR-RENT.
Well, this is a look back at the season series this year. It started October 19th right here. Sharks and Jets tying at 3. Irbe played that game and got the tie. Then the Jets came to San Jose a little later on in October and blew the Sharks out. Tkachuk with a big night there, but the Sharks rallied early in December back at San Jose Arena as Chris Terreri made 32 saves in a 5-3 win. And right now, the Sharks leading the Jets 3-0, despite being outshot 11-8. Friesen, Turcotte, and Shalun with the San Jose goals. Peltonen given the only assist on the Shalun goal. And the Jets control in their own zone. Here's Zhamnov. He comes down the left side with good speed. The shot right on net. Nerbe turned to the side. In front, but to the skates of Racine. And he will get it out and up to Jeff Odgers. Fired back in by Doan. Irbe will steer this over to Bodger. The Sharks playing with a lot of confidence tonight. And as we pointed out, a string of confidence that really began building late in the game in Boston when the Sharks just kept hanging into that hockey game and then eventually got a point out of it. Nolan to Kozlov. Couple of men back. Victor falls. Looks back to Dvorsky. Thought Korolev tripped him, but Dvorsky says no. Doan across the ice. Here's Korolev. He'll pull up. Jets on a line change, so Zhamnov's alone down there. Able to get to the puck. And Kozlov taps it out to center ice and beyond.
Well, that's a good battle along the board. You see two Jets, two Sharks. Who comes up with the puck but the San Jose Shark player?
Aaron Shannon sending it in for Eastwood. He backhands it right off the inside of Irbe's skate. Nolan after it at center ice, but it's taken back by Jeff Finley and across the ice. Now the Jets come from the blue line. Dallas Drake winds up. That one wide. Nolan, he's hacked at, but the puck comes to Kozlov. And this line, kind of a impromptu arrangement due to all the trades, looking pretty good. Kozlov, Dahlin, and Nolan.
Well, Kozlov, with each game he plays, he just gets that much better. That's what he needs, a lot of playing time.
Well, with Janny gone now, Victor Kozlov has the team record for most consecutive games played. 47. Shot by Shalhoub blocked.
Yeah, tonight will be 47.
Janny lost the handle. Good forechecking in the neutral zone by the Sharks. And it comes back to Michael Sikora. Janny turns it back for Dave Manson. Turcotte up to forecheck. It came down to Shalhoub. He almost burst forward there, but Janny gets it back into the left side for King. Chris King throws one high and wide around to Stapleton. He'll send it behind the net. Janny ties up there with Turcotte. Moore also there to help out as Chris King came in. And the Sharks win that battle behind the net. Here's Shalhoub. Waiting for help, just taps it into the zone. Sharks change up.
Yeah, but a good job in their own zone. Not getting outnumbered behind their net. Not getting out-muscled and getting that puck out of their zone as quick as they can.
Now the Sharks with fresh people on. Sean Donovan, left side to Dave Brown. Back for Friesen. Saved. Then off the rebound, Donovan tried to go inside on Javi Buehlen. But two saves by the Winnipeg goalie there as Jeff Friesen had a good chance, and then the rebound also was a good chance.
Sean Donovan is going to be shaking his head after this one. Look at the play by Friesen taking it. Look at Donovan right there. All he had to do was get it about 4 or 5 inches off the ground. Javi Buehlen was down, lifted over his arm, and I think he just looked up as he went to shoot it, and it just trickled very harmlessly to the goalkeeper.
This is his 6th appearance against the Sharks. 2-1-1 with a pretty snazzy goals against average. And sometimes you find diamonds way down in the draft. The 204th player selected in the year he was drafted, Nikolai Javi Buehlen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The K is silent.
Yes. Zhamnov back behind the net to Norm McIver. You talk about teams that have made a lot of trades in the year. The Jets have made a lot of moves this year. This is a much different team than the one that started the season back in October. Of course, the biggest change being Solani out of here.
He's still questioning that one here.
And will they ever, should Anaheim beat out the Jets for the playoff spot? Break here. We'll step aside. Sharks in command here.
Flying to San Diego for business? If these 28 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines to San Diego, maybe this will. Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline. You're well
into the darkness of winter, so why go out now? Because the Toyota Spring Rush is on. If you rush into your dealer, you can see Toyota's classy flagship Avalon. And while everyone else is in hibernation, get a great value on a new Camry. I'm talking best car built in America. And right now, you can get one for low 1.9% financing. But hurry, they'll be gone before the snow melts. Brand new Toyotas, 1.9% financing on Camrys to boot. Wow, what a rush.
This Sharks game brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft Light. With MTD Light, this time it's your time.
Well, one of the Manitobans at the game here tonight. Used to be a Shark fan.
There's another one in the wilderness.
Huh? Oh, there he is.
Hey, he's got all the gear.
You say this was the first day of spring. I don't think that Mother Nature was informed about that here in Winnipeg.
No, somebody forgot to
10 below zero here this morning.
Yeah. Although I did notice a little snow melting off a couple of the streets, but
very little.
It's probably because we were driving on them. One of those trips where room service is your first choice for going out for dinner. Stay out of that cold. Chad Kilger back for the Jets. And it's fired in by McIver. Jets jump on the puck in the corner. McKenzie run into by Racine. Racine's been throwing his weight around tonight, and he keeps getting the puck after he throws the body checks. That's what it's all about.
That's when the puck's following you around.
Here's Baker. With one hand, he sweeps it into the corner. Kilger up the wing. Wanted McKenzie, but it went to Peterson instead, and he'll just fire it right back in.
Sharks should just really get on top of the Jets. They're frustrating them. When a team gets frustrated, they slow down, and I think the Sharks have really done a good job of slowing down the Winnipeg Jets in this hockey game.
Kozlov and Dahlin with some nice checks. Nolan comes up with the puck in front. It's sitting at the side of the crease, swept away by McIver. Now here's Kozlov. Dahlin moves to the front of the net, but it's intercepted by the Jets. At least until they can get it out over the line. Now here's Dahlin with Nolan trailing. Craig Muni working on Dahlin. Oh, nice job. Gets it around to Nolan. Owen chases it up the wing. Tries to poke it to Ragnarsson. Risky play, and the Jets come back the other way. Shannon to Eastwood. And he tipped it wide. Cleared from behind the net by Nolan. He did a good job there down low to get rid of that. Jay Moore shaken up behind the Sharks' net.
He hit that knee. He went crashing into those end boards, and he's still up there.
Moore's really struggling to stay on his skates. Drake gets nailed by Owen Nolan. Now Kozlov with the puck along the board. Sharks would like to get a stoppage here so that Jay Moore can get off. Here's Moore. Couldn't get control. Dallas Drake has it. He lost it. Moore will lift it up the ice. And now he'll labor over to the Sharks bench. Puck shot into the Sharks zone. Racine comes up with it. Get out of the way, Paul Dvorsky. And it's tipped out to Jan Shalhoub. One man back, Tverdovsky. Shalhoub takes it wide. Now inside. Almost got the stick back on it. Tell you, Tverdovsky is getting a lot of attention tonight from the Sharks forward.
Dipsy doodle, that's for sure.
Janney backhand pass. That was right in a seam. Nobody near it. Now Janney behind the net. That comes in front. Cleared by Turcotte. Now Janney in the corner against Sikora. Gives it off to Stapleton. Stapleton's wrister blocked. And now a race for the puck. But Tverdovsky is going to get there ahead of Shalhoub.
Well, Shalhoub's towards the end of a shift here, so I don't think he's got much gas in the tank.
Chris King sent to the ice by Racine. That's the third good body check Racine's thrown in the game. Stapleton, watched by Racine, played it wide of the net and around, and it's taken back by Donovan the Peltman. He's got Jeff Friesen with, fires it in from center. Now Javi Buellen out to settle at the side of the net for Craig Muni. Sharks lead 3-0, and the Jets with a little trouble here. Getting things started out of their own end, stolen by Friesen. At the side of the net, it trickles back behind to Muni. And now out to Igor Korolev.
There's some good pressure. We talk about pressure under D. Donovan right there, and the Sharks almost got a good scoring opportunity.
Shamnov now on his backhand. Sets it back to Finley at the point. Here's McIver. He fumbled it. Now back into the corner for Shane Doan. Doan shoved by Friesen. Doan skates away from traffic. In front, McIver couldn't get a good shot away, and the Sharks got away with some trouble there.
McIver was wide open there, and the puck was put in his skates. That's on his stick. He may have been able to put that one in.
Friesen just sends it in. He wants off.
And Norm McIver is the kind of defenseman that'll jump into the play every opportunity he gets.
Finley driving it off the lively boards to the side of Urbe. Now Baker, the no-look over to Tansel. The Dirtbags are out there. Odgers, Tansel, and Baker as Odgers fires it into the corner. Newman out to Doan. He's at the end of his shift. Still has some gas left in the tank. Lets it go. Urbe calmly gloving it down. Gives to Ragnarsson, and he makes an alert play to turn it the other way over to Racine. The Sharks are playing almost mistake-free hockey tonight.
Well, there's communication out there, and that's important.
Bobby Bulin forced to take the face-off deep in his own end. 3-0 Sharks. We'll be back.
Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
Hey, check out the Pontiac Sunfire roaring across sunny California. Now, guess how much extra the dual airbags, ABS, and CD player are? Go ahead, guess. We've got time. That's right, 0, nothing, the big O. And now you can get your new Sunfire for a great no back and forth value price that'll really stop you in your tracks. Sunfire is here. Test drive a real set of wheels you can really afford. Just $13,495 at your Silicon Valley Pontiac dealer today.
This San Jose Sharks game is brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi.
Well, contact is important. Here's a big body check right here. Dallas Drake going behind, and look at the shoulder check by Owen Nolan. Comes in there and really gives Dallas Drake a smash into those inboards.
3-0. Shark goals from Jeff Friesen, Darren Turcotte, and Jan Shalhoub.
Shalhoub's had 2 shots on goal in the National Hockey League, and he's scored on both of them. Try and top that for a shooting percentage.
Not bad. They did change the assists on the goal by Shalhoub and gave them to Ragnarsson and Turcotte and took one away from Peltonen. So Turcotte in on 2 goals. Tverdovsky, a backhand pass. That one hit Drake, and we're going to get a Sharks penalty here as Jamie Baker controls it. Drake was hauled down at the side of the net. That's why he was unable to do much with that pass from Tverdovsky.
Looking at Jay Moore, he's the one who's skating to the penalty box. Sikora was back there, and there's the play right there. There you see the Jet player going down there. That's Jay Moore who picked him up. Sikora had the Jet player with the puck on a one-on-one, but Jay Moore kind of just snuck by and took to skates from underneath the Jet forward, and Dvorsky was right there in the 45-second period. Jason Moore will set another couple of minutes here for interferences. Terry Simpson over there on the Winnipeg bench desperately looking for something to get his team going, and they got an opportunity here on this power play.
Well, they are 0-for-1. They did get 3 shots off, though. And as we pointed out earlier, Winnipeg with a pretty good power play this year. Coming in the top third in the NHL. Tansel will clear it.
There was a big face-off win there by Darren Turcotte. Won that draw, got it back, and the Sharks dump it down, and they'll take off about 20 seconds on that penalty clock.
Turcotte's out there penalty killing. And that's one of the things he brings to the mix for Jim Wiley, is his ability to be so versatile, both with the offensive side of things, strong defense, and the special teams.
You know, Randy, he's also been in the league 8 years. He's smart. He's been around. See that little play he made along the boards? Just hooked the guy's arm a little bit so the guy couldn't get the puck. Then he picked up the loose puck and drove it down the ice. That's smart hockey.
McIver over to Newman. They work the points for the Jet power play here as Janney gets tied up by Bodger. Jamie Baker over to Owen Nolan. Owen down the right side, saved by Bobby Bulin. So Nolan, who jumped on this penalty kill here, gets himself a shot on goal. 55 left in the power play for Winnipeg. Jomnok tripped up, and no penalty there.
See, Turcotte, he started this penalty, killing the penalty, took a brief rest, and Jim Wiley has put him back out there.
And now it comes for Ida Peterson, and he'll dive to clear it out. And the fans here are booing the Jet power play. That pass hit the linesman on the far side. It comes back down to Turcotte, and he'll shovel it down low.
Yeah, but you got to give the Jets penalty killers credit for that. Very aggressive here on the penalty kill. 20 seconds left here in Jason Moore's penalty.
Tverdovsky. And it's Michael Sikora now. He's got Friesen on the left wing side. He'll carry it in himself. Lets the shot go. That deflected off Hobby Buelen's glove. And comes back down to the other side. Nobody knew where it was except Sikora. And it's off the glove again. Batted down. And the Jets will come up with it.
How did that puck end up there?
I don't know. Here's Sikora again. Stopped by Hobby Buelen. Friesen with it. And his shot stopped by Hobby Buelen. Penalty's over. Sharks pouring it on here. Here's Donovan to Nolan. Owen tries to get it in front for Friesen. Finally taken back by Winnipeg. That was a great sequence there by Michael Sikora.
How about Jeff Friesen? Everywhere he went, that puck ended up on his stick.
Shot from long range. Urbe will tie it up and will take a break. 4:46 left in the second period. Still 3-0.
Bill, first the roses, then the earrings, and now my favorite, pizza. How am I ever going to thank you?
Well, actually, it's Salute pizza from Round Table. Yeah, it has 25% less fat.
So you think I'm fat?
Presenting a variety of healthier Salute pizzas with more toppings and 25% less fat, including the new Salute chicken and garlic.
So, call me, okay?
Round Table, the last honest pizza.
This is the story of twins, separated at birth. Doug went to California, where he uses the message center. Voicemail from Pacific Bell. Doug went to Iceland. No message center. Doug wants to start a volleyball team, but getting the word out is tough. Doug told his team to call and order the message center. Now he can send one message to everyone at once. Doug just got voted team captain. Doug is still just co-captain.
Coming up at the break, your fax and email questions for Randy and Pete and the latest from around the league. Now back to Randy and Pete in Winnipeg.
See the time left here in the second period. This game just humming along here. Good pace to the hockey game, and the Sharks playing very well tonight here on the road in Winnipeg. Sharks on the road this year have not had a lot of success. 6-27-4 away from home. But tonight, so far, things going very well. Dahlin wanted Nolan, but he was tied up at the front of the Jet net. Now Kozlov turns away from traffic in the corner. In front, Nolan scores! Owen Nolan literally crashing the net. It's in, and it's 4-0.
That's this drive. Jets half possession, but the Sharks just keep on coming. And Hobby Buelen had it for a split second, and he hesitated, not sure what to do with it. There's Dahlin keeping it in. Here's Nolan with the puck. Victor Kozlov's going to throw this one out in front. Look at Hobby Buelen. He's down. A couple of defensemen there, but Owen Nolan just goes for the front of the net. Here's Victor Kozlov tossing it there. There you see the stick of Hobby Buelen, not really knowing what to do, and just great effort by Owen Nolan to go crashing into that net and put it in. There's Hobby Buelen just deflecting it out in front, and there's Owen Nolan right there. Perfect position to put it in. 4-0, Sharks.
It's Nolan's 31st goal of the season. And now Darren Shannon with a shot. Tipped right into Urbe's glove by Mike Eastwood. And Arthurs Urbe has been Johnny on the spot when called upon tonight. That's the 16th save he's made.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he squares up to the shooter. He's coming out, taking down the angles away, and he has just been great. He's had about 3 or 4 really tough saves to make in this hockey game, and if somebody hasn't played in this length of time, he is playing out there with a tremendous amount of confidence so far.
Owen Nolan with his 31st of the year and his 26th as a Shark. 27th, actually, as he closes in on the all-time record for the Sharks goals scored in a season. That record held by Sergei Makarov, who had 30 2 years ago. So Nolan closing in on that. And the number of games left after tonight, I'd say he's got a good shot at it. Here's Peltonen. And it's taken away and cleared back to center ice. Ragnarsson with the touch for the icing call against Winnipeg with 3:52 left in the second period. I want to remind you, coming up in the second intermission, which is just around the corner, we're going to take your email and fax questions. You still have time to get them in to Robert Bronston. He's standing by in the studios. And wouldn't you know it, the address is rbronstein@kicu.com. Or if you want to fax it to us, send it to 408-298-1353.
Jim Wiley obviously happy with what's going on. Team up 4-zip. Playing very well, both ends, and skating, moving the puck, and playing very physically. That's everything that a coach likes to see his team do, and he's certainly done all of that in this hockey game so far.
Baker in the face-off circle, and it comes along the boards. Chancel and Muni battle for it. And it's going to be tied up in the skates of Chancel here as Zaborski wants him to move the puck, and it does come free.
Zaborski's way over on the other side. He's not even getting in there to tell him to move it.
The puck's still sitting there. There's a broken stick down there as well. It's Chancel's. So amidst all that pressure, as the players try and use their weight for leverage to get that puck out, he broke the blade of his stick. Janney's going to have to wait for the zone to clear out as he backtracks to center ice. Now across the blue line. Janney tries to give for Zhamnov. He's hooked to the ice by Odgers.
Well,
and a penalty coming up to the Sharks. The Jets get Javi Bulin out. Zhamnov in front, but it's Jamie Baker there to clear that away. And a power play coming up for Winnipeg with 3:07 left in the second period.
Yeah, the captain knows this one. Zhamnov is fast, and he got a stride in there, and, well, really no choice for Jeff Odgers. There would have been nobody between Zhamnov and Artur Zerbe, and that's what you call a good penalty. I mean, Odgers was a step or two behind. Here's Janney gaining the line. Look at Zhamnov up there on the top of your screen. He breaks between Jay Moore and Odgers. He's got that step, and the quick backhand pass over there, and Odgers just reached out and brought down Zhamnov to take the penalty.
So all three penalties in the game called so far have been against the Sharks. As Jim Wiley's penalty kill unit goes back out, Odgers in the box for the hook. And from the faceoff, it comes to McIver at the point. Back to him now, deflected. And Urbe keeping his eye on that one as it came to the side. And it's cleared down now by Racine.
Boy, what a strong game for Racine. Notice how he releases. He knows where the puck is. He takes a man, but if he sees a loose puck, jumps on it very quickly. And he did that there and was able to drive the puck all the way down.
Janney ports it to Zhamnov, then breaks for the net as it comes to Numanen. His pass in for Shannon tipped. Now Friesen trying to win a battle on the boards. Behind the net to Racine. And Evil lifted out. Strong penalty killing all around. Excellent team play by the Sharks tonight. And solid goaltending from Urbe in his first start since November of the season. Quite some time ago. Shannon turning away. Back to Numanen. Urbe's got it.
That was a good save right there. That was deflected by Janney in front of the net. And this is one of those nights when things are going your way. Here's the shot from the point. Watch in front of the net. The shot coming through. There's Janney. Got a piece of that one. That thing was coming up, but the goalkeeper, Artur Zerbe, squared himself to the shooter, comes out to the top of the crease right there, doesn't give any room, and comes up with his 18th save of this hockey game.
Janney sits down, but he figures to be an integral part of the power play, especially so when Tkachuk comes back off suspension. That'll be Friday when the Jets host the Flyers. In fact, Philadelphia's already here. A lot of their people in the building tonight.
I think Tkachuk, when he comes back, will play on a line with Janney.
And Tkachuk, who is also from New England, from Boston.
Yeah, they got the same accent.
Yeah, really looking forward to having Janney play with him.
I've got to try and perfect that New England accent.
It's easy. You park the car by the yard.
That's not bad.
Park the car. Fast. Moore gets away from a check, and as Nolan sends it down, we've got a high sticking penalty to the Sharks, and they're going to check to see now if Mike Stapleton's cut, and if he is, we could have more than just two.
Well, it'd be a very important call right here, and you can see there's just the indication. And, you know, referee usually will go over if it's anything more than 2 minutes. He'll go over and look at right at the boards. There's Owen Nolan going up against Stapleton. Both these guys sticks up, but Owen Nolan just comes down with the shaft of his stick right across the face of Mike Stapleton, and he joins Jeff Odgers over there, who's still got 40 seconds to go in his penalty. So the Winnipeg Jets will be working here with a two-man advantage.
So a big 5-on-3 situation here. Sharks were in this jam on Monday night in Boston, and they killed off a 5-on-3, and it was part of what lifted them into a third period that saw them come back. Now they'll face the Jet power play.
Well, let's see this face-off. Baker's in there against Craig Janney.
Janney gets it over to the boards to Zhamnov, now to Newman. Back to Zhamnov. To the side, Janney couldn't haul that in, and it's back to the point. Zhamnov. Now back to him from Stapleton, and it's high and wide. Newman will pull it back to the point. Shot, saved by Irbe. Right in the middle of that crease, down on his knees, Arthur Irbe. And not only did he stop it, Pete, but he smothered it, no rebound.
But, you know, great play by Doug Bodger. He tried to clear things away. You let these guys take the shot from the point. Goalkeepers are going to make these saves if they can see it. But look at Bodger right behind. And Irbe finds a seam, a little hole there, and sees that puck all the way, comes up with the save. But Bodger right there to take Shannon out of that play. 14 seconds here left in that first penalty of the Sharks to Jeff Odgers. Face-off once again, very important.
Back to Zhamnov from the face-off. Nice tip by Turcotte, but Zhamnov held it in. Here's Janney. The pass tipped away by Turcotte. Knocked down by Stapleton. He's pursued by Racine. Puck comes to Newman, deflected, wide of the net. Now behind the goal, it's Janney. First penalty is over. Odgers back on. Newman lines it up, and that one just missed the far side. 1:10 left to go in the penalty to Nolan. As Racine and Stapleton battle behind the goal, Darren Shannon there too. Poked away, and Turcotte can't get it out. Zhamnov held it in at the line. Here's Newman to the side. Janney, forced by Racine to the boards, gives off to Stapleton. Stapleton behind the net. Here's Shannon. Now Janney back for Shannon. Weak shot, and it's cleared down with 43 seconds left in the power play.
The Sharks, the Jets control the play inside the zone, but they didn't allow the Jets any good shots on goal.
In the corner, it's Bodger. And Tverdovsky settles it.
High stick.
11.7 left in the period.
24 seconds left in Owen Nolan's penalty. And the Sharks, good job. They go over there and give Arthur Irbe a little pat. Things are quiet over there on the Sharks bench, but there's happiness on the inside. And that guy right there is... And everybody's got to be pleased with the performance that he has given so far. And this face-off coming back all the way down into the Jet zone because it was the Jet player that raised his stick up with the high stick. And took a little bit of a break here for the Sharks with 24 seconds left in their penalty.
So if the Sharks can hold the Jets off for this final 11.7, Winnipeg will have a brief power play to start the third. Baker stands in against Eastwood, and Eastwood gets the draw over to Korolev, but the Jets have to hurry here. Tverdovsky off to McIver, and he will put his team offside here if they touch it, and they don't, and the horn sounds to end the second period, and they're letting them have it here in Winnipeg, but Arthur Irbe and the Sharks have been solid now through 40 minutes. Second period scoring brought to you by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you. It was 2-0 and then 3-0 when Jan Shalhoub scored in his second straight game, second NHL game at 2:11. Turcotte and Ragnarsson getting the assist. And then Owen Nolan's 31st from Kozlov and Dahlin to round out scoring in the second period. And at the end of 2, it is the Sharks 4, the Winnipeg Jets nothing. Now to our Cellular One studio and Robert Bronstein.
All right, coming up, Randy and Pete will take your fax and email questions and scores and highlights from other games being played tonight in the NHL right after this.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if he can only get a cab.
The harshest winter in years is almost over, so crawl out from under your electric blanket because the Toyota Spring Rush is on. If you rush into your Toyota dealer, you can see tough new trucks, like the Tacoma 4x4, and save big bucks with low 1.9% financing on a T100, or even pick up a Tacoma with a 1.9 APR. But hurry, these offers wait for no one. Tail-kicking trucks and values to match. Wow, what a rush.
10 minutes? Perfect. I'll see you then. Ah, the bubbly. Thank you, buddy. Your door's up.
I missed it. Close.
Yes. I got a date in 4.5 minutes.
You're smiling?
Hey!
Hello. Just a technical problem.
Barry, what's going on in there?
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
You ever hear anyone talk about life like you gotta chew it up and spit it out? You gotta want it so bad you can taste it. You gotta be hungry. If so, Gatorade has one question for you.
You want something to drink with that? Because you're gonna be thirsty.
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if he can only get a cab.
Let's check out some highlights from games going on tonight around the NHL. This segment brought to you by American Express. In Toronto, the Leafs battling Detroit, and a scary moment for the Wings early. Kurt Muller checked Sergei Fedorov hard into the boards. Fedorov had to leave with injuries to his shoulder and knee. Not sure right now how severe the injuries are to the game. No score in the second. Toronto wearing the blue jerseys at home. Mike Gartner beats Chris Osgood with a slap shot, 1-0 Leafs. But Detroit comes back, tied at 1 later in the period when Vladimir Konstantinov gets the steal and a breakaway one-on-one with Don Dupre before beating the Maple Leafs goalie and giving Detroit a 2-1 lead. The score right now 3-2 Toronto in the third. In New Jersey, Boston visiting the Devils. The Bruins' John Roloff gets Boston on the board first with a pretty backhand pass to Brodeur, 1-0 Boston. Later on, Sandy Moger is in the right spot at the right time to put home the rebound. The Bruins holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Devils in the third period. In other games tonight, now on our American Express scoreboard, Calgary has just scored to take a 1-0 lead over Chicago in the second. Dallas has a 2-0 second period lead over St. Louis. Colorado and the Kings will start in about 15 minutes. And Montreal scored a goal late in the third. That is now a final 3-2 Montreal over Hartford. Let's check out what the Sharks are doing in the community now with the Great Western Community Bulletin Board. The Sharks and Great Western Bank, partners in community service, will always be there.
I'm Sue Seaton of the Finance Department of the San Jose Sharks. Here's what's coming up on the Sharks Great Western Community Bulletin Board.
On March 23rd, it's the Sharks' Wives Dining Out Extravaganza. Fans can dine with a member of the team while contributing to Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence, an organization that provides shelter and services to battered women and their families at this truly unique event. Tickets for the dessert party with the players are still available. For more information, call 510-937-7947. Then on March 30th, come meet your favorite Sharks players, get autographs, play carnival games, check out the Stanley Cup, and much, much more at Sharks Fest, presented by Adobe Systems Incorporated. All proceeds from this fun, interactive event benefit the Sharks Foundation 9596 local youth beneficiaries. VIP session from 10 a.m. to noon is limited to 1,000 fans, and the general session from 1 to 3 is open to the first 4,000. For more information, call 408-287-7070 or pick up your tickets at San Jose Arena's ticket office, Bass Ticket Centers, and Bass Charge at 408-998-BASS. And on April 13th and 14th, the San Jose Sharks invite you to NHL Breakout 96, the National Hockey League's official off-ice hockey tour at Great America. It's the ultimate tourney for street and roller hockey players of all levels, and spectators too. Meet Sharks players, take part in hockey clinics, competitions, and more. Call 408-999-5825 for more information or to request an entry form. The Sharks and Great Western Bank, partners in community service. We'll always be there.
Used to be a bank here. One day it was in business, next day it was gone. Well, if your bank is calling it quits and you're wondering what to do, switch to Great Western Bank. You'll find a 24-hour hotline, Saturday hours, all the conveniences. And right now, you'll even get free checking. So, if your bank is history, come to Great Western. They're still making history.
Do you have any idea what you've got up and down the Stevens Creek Auto Road? You've got Mercedes Volvo, Stevens Creek Nissan, Cadillac Oldsmobile, Acura, Frontier Infiniti, Dodge, Saturn of Stevens Creek, Chrysler Plymouth, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Buick, Pontiac, GMC, BMW, Isuzu, Hyundai, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Lincoln, Mercury, Jeep, Eagle, Mazda, Chevrolet, Geo, Kia. So remember to stop by the Stevens Creek Auto Row. Bring a ladder.
For many kids, growing up can be tough. That's why Nike and the NHL are taking hockey to the streets. In NHL cities all over North America, Nike NHL Street offers thousands of kids the chance to learn how to play the game, how to work together, and how to have fun, all in a safe environment. To get more information on Nike NHL Street, call 1-800-929-PLAY.
Is there anything at all that's not here in the Pacific Bell's Smart Yellow Pages?
I don't think so. In fact, I just received my copy yesterday.
Pretty exciting. And you tore yourself away from it and came out here to the beach.
Yes.
What kinds of things do you look up in here?
Repairs and parks, baseball games.
Now, they deliver other directories, too, right?
Well, I just use the Pacific Yellow Pages.
Smart Yellow Pages. Oh, what do you do with the other ones?
They're just under these.
Oh, you use them as a table for Pacific Bell's Smart Yellow Pages. So we're on top of the heap, huh?
I find whatever I want in there.
You know, if it isn't in here...
If it isn't in here, it's not there.
Maybe it doesn't exist.
That's right.
Randy and Pete ready and waiting for your email questions and fax questions. The first one comes from Gabriella. She says, before I ask the question, I want to say how very happy I am to see Arthur's Urbe back in goal. And recently, she says she heard a commentator describe Urbe as having an unorthodox style of play. What does that mean?
Well, I have to disagree with that. I don't think he's that unorthodox. He plays pretty solid. He's not jumping around the net. He's not a flopper or anything like that. He does have some difficulty when he goes out of the net. But I think he's a pretty conventional goalkeeper. I mean, you get some goalkeepers in the National Hockey League, and Eddie Belfour in Chicago that goes down all the time. And some of these guys on the spread eagle. So if anything else, I think that Arthur Zerbe is more of a conventional goalkeeper than anything else.
And maybe it's about religion, and I think he is orthodox.
Obviously, that commentator had no idea what he was talking about. Next question comes from Mountain View Jack Cormode. Says in last night's Detroit-Toronto game, Warner of the Maple Leafs got called for an unsportsmanlike conduct diving penalty in the third period. Why is that penalty called so seldom in the NHL?
Maybe Todd Warner's bad at diving.
Yeah, well, how do you know what's going through a guy's mind? I mean, sometimes you get a little push and you go down, and that must have been pretty obvious. We did not see that, but that's in the book. I mean, if somebody gives you a little shove and you kind of Hollywood it, and I'm sure that Todd Warner did that would necessitate that penalty call, and I'm sure that's what happened on that particular occasion.
Robert, we had a fax sent to us straight to the press box here in Winnipeg. It's from Stellan in Sunnyvale, and he wanted to say happy birthday to his dad, Mark Stolberger, who happens to be our producer as well, and he even sent along a birthday card, happy birthday, Daddy. So we'll wish a happy birthday to Mark.
Happy birthday to our producer down in the truck, Mark Stolberger. All the best.
All right, guys, thank you very much. And Stellan with a perfect likeness of his dad. Very nicely done. Time now for our Techron tips of the game, brought to you by Chevron. To prevent knocking and pinging, try Chevron Supreme with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
How does Shaquille O'Neal get fired up for a game? With the scorching new 4-alarm double-decker taco from Taco Bell. It's the hottest new way to bring soft and crunchy together in one big fiery taste. The new 4-alarm double-decker taco, only at Taco Bell.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
Get fired up for breakfast with a new sun-up sandwich with your choice of sizzling bacon or juicy sausage.
Nike presents the Oakland Hoop It Up, brought to you locally by the San Francisco Chronicle. Hoop It Up is open to all ages and abilities. So whether you're playing in a men's, women's, kids, or older than dirt division, Hoop It Up has a division for you. Call 408-370-9267 for more information. Or go by any Foot Locker store and pick up an entry form. Deadline for entry April 5th, so enter today.
Second period highlights now brought to you by Jack in the Box Restaurants. Watch out, Mac. Jack's back.
Well, once again, the Sharks controlling the scoring in the second period at 2 minutes in. Watch the Sharks on the attack. It's going to be Jan Shalhoub, fights through a crowd, gets that puck on his stick, and then upstairs on Nikolai Habibulin right there, and that makes it a 3-0 game. Sharks strike once again. Good work in the corner by Victor Kozlov, getting it out in front. Goalkeeper Habibulin mishandles that puck, but Owen Nolan jumps right in there on that loose puck, puts it in to give the Sharks the 4-0 lead.
You know, Stemmer, when the Sharks return home, I have a feeling that whenever he steps on the ice, he may hear Shalhoub.
Yeah, you like the way that some of these young guys are playing. And Jan Shalhoub, very determined there. He scored a very important goal for the Sharks.
Third period coming up, Robert.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be back to Winnipeg for that third period of play in a moment. The Sharks leading right now 4-0. First, here's some information on our next coolest night of the week.
Hey, kid, what's the celebration about?
Fun fairs. Yeah, fun fairs.
Oh, you mean Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29, huh?
Exactly. Hey, use a coaster.
And you can fly to lots of fun Southwest places, right?
Oh, yeah, lots of places.
So where are you going?
Nowhere. My folks already left.
Right. Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29. It's your chance to get away. You might want to call before you come home. Pushing 10 to 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this
Roll
game.
commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there. He's on Lucy.
What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal. Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that?
He says there's nothing good on TV.
It's well known that Cellular One offers remarkably clear service from coast to coast.
Father couldn't be here, so he's listening over the phone.
Oh, she sounds great, honey.
In fact, clarity could be why more people choose Cellular One.
Hey, pass the ball over to Tommy. Hey,
Cellular One, the nation's #1 cellular service, clear across America.
Impressive resume, Peter.
Thank you, sir.
A degree in rocket science.
Yeah.
And a tour of duty with the Foreign Legion.
Yes, I mean we.
Well, Peter, I don't believe it.
You don't?
Mon ami, I too am a legionnaire.
When just a cold one isn't cold enough,
Crack open the refreshing taste of cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
Those are the streets of Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's where we are for Sharks hockey tonight, with the Sharks leading the Jets 4-0. And the third period coming right up, brought to you by the Message Center. Voicemail for your home from Pacific Bell. By Round Table Pizza. Try one of the great-tasting, healthier Salute pizzas. They're loaded with more vegetables and 25% less fat. By Pontiac and the Silicon Valley Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement. And by the Gatorade Company. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Well, the Sharks are going to have to kill a very short time here on the penalty to Owen Nolan. He's still got 12 seconds left, and so far, so good for Artur Zerbe.
And the stats through 2 periods now, brought to you by Pontiac and the Silicon Valley Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement. In that second period, the Sharks outshot the Jets 9-8. You see the totals through 40 minutes. Sharks with the better of the scoring chances, 6-4. And all the penalties in the game, 4 of them, have gone to the San Jose Sharks. And as you mentioned, Pete, a little left over in that minor penalty to Owen Nolan. You see him in the box for 12 more seconds. But the Sharks have been perfect in every way imaginable so far tonight. Dallas Drake sends it in. Janney will chase it for Winnipeg. Irbe plays it around. Dallas Drake knocks it down in the corner. And the penalty's over as Nolan's back on. And it comes around to Owen Nolan. He takes a look to his left, finds Chris Cancel. Cancel crosses the line, tries to get a wrist shot off. Baker trailing has it. Sikora from the point to Cancel. He'll drop it around. And Jeff Odgers takes it up the boards and then dumps it back around the net. Severdovsky takes it back for Winnipeg. As we mentioned, coming into the night, the Jets with a 1-point lead on Anaheim for that last playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Mighty Ducks have been playing some mighty good hockey of late.
Beat Washington last night right in Landover.
On the road, yeah. 5 straight wins for Ron Wilson and company, setting a franchise record down in Anaheim. Going to be a great final 3 weeks here to see who's in and who's not. Numanen starts out. Has to give a short pass on the boards. Now it comes back to Racine. Not much ice for him to maneuver with, though. Now Dahlin had it, lost it, and Darren Shannon will dump it to Jamnov. Alexei Jamnov and Shannon crisscross. Jamnov left it for his man. Muni a drive, turned aside, as Jamnov gets it back in the corner. Here's Numanen. One-timer, that's wide. Muni keeps it going, but Racine intercepts in the corner and plays it around. Sharks need to get it out here.
Yeah, Sharks guilty of giving it away. That's why they got problems now.
Irbe's going to hold it as Shannon gives Racine a little chin music. Owen Nolan says, why don't you mess with me?
Yeah. If anything's going to start on the ice, you always like Owen Nolan right in the middle of that. You know he'll get involved.
Well, while we have a moment here, let's check the game notepad, brought to you by McWhorters. A whole lot more than a stationery store. Now with 21 Bay Area locations to serve you. Well, Turcotte's debut has been Bafo. He has a goal, and he has an assist. Jan Shalhoub on a goal-a-game pace, and Artur Zerbe has indeed been okay.
Well, the faceoff's going to come outside. Here you see the scuffle in front of the net, and there's Shannon going with Racine and Stapleton jumping in, and there's Owen Nolan. I'm going to say, quiet down, boys. And, well, that's a Shark fan right there. He's had plenty to cheer about tonight. You know, the important thing in the third period is these first 5 minutes or so. You know the Jets are going to come out and throw everything they have at the Sharks to get themselves back in the game. So it's an important defensive part of this third period for the Sharks.
Shot in, Irbe stopped it. Doan got it back to Muni, but his pass away from McIver. Now Ragnar set up for Billy Pelton. He's got Shalhoub breaking away at center ice. Jan Shalhoub skates in. Scores! Shalhoub with his second goal. It's 5-0.
Hallelujah. They're very happy for the youngsters over on the Shark side. with a great pass as the Jets decide to press. They're looking for something, getting caught, but look at the great pass. Look at Shalhoub come in, goes straight at Habibulin, and then the last minute throws the deke. Here's the pass. Shalhoub coming in, seeing exactly what the goalkeeper gives him. Habibulin backing in. Shalhoub pulls it to the backhand upstairs, and it's 5-0. A great play by Jan Shalhoub.
I have absolutely no idea what the NHL record is, but Jan Shalhoub has 3 goals on 3 shots. And that almost went in.
But that was a great play by Peltonen to get the blue line. He got over the blue line so it wouldn't be a 2-line pass. Great pass to Shalhoub, and Shalhoub made no mistake after that.
Peltonen and Ragnarsson getting the assist at 2:11. Here's the play a moment ago.
Well, here's Donovan in front. The Sharks just coming on real strong. Look how the work of Sean Donovan. He's a big guy. He's tough to move off the puck, but Tverdovsky just came over there and got that puck out of harm's way at the right time.
There's Jan Shalhoub, 23 years old, out of the Czech Republic. The Sharks drafted him in 1992 in the 4th round, 75th player pick. When he came up from Kansas City Monday, he was their leading scorer, 36 goals and 28 assists for 64 points. And all he's done since coming to the NHL is scored every time he shot the puck.
3 shots, 3 goals.
Michael Sikora, and they score again! That was tipped. I don't know if it was Friesen or Brown, but it's 6-0.
Well, they're all going over and congratulating Jeff Friesen. He's the one who started it by winning the faceoff. Sikora with the hard shot. Look at the draw by Friesen. Look at Friesen. He goes for the net. Now he's got his body facing the shot. He sees it coming. Sikora lets that one go about 8 inches off the ice. Friesen squares up to the shooter, gets his stick on it. Puck changes direction into the net, and what a night for the San Jose Sharks.
So Michael Sikora's blast tipped in by Jeff Friesen. That's how we saw it. We'll wait for the official call. But the Sharks have come out and scored 2 quickies here, and it's 6-0.
Well, look at Friesen on the right of your screen. Face-off win. He gets himself into position. There's no question that Friesen touches that puck right there, gets that stick below his shoulder. It dips right down past Habibulin, and Habibulin out of the net. The Jets got a new goalkeeper in there.
Yes, they do. Dominic Roussel now in goal for Winnipeg. They picked him up in a trade last month with Philadelphia for Tim Cheveldae. And Roussel comes in now. He's faced the Sharks before. All season, he's played just 3 for the Jets, 1-1 with a 4.06. Lifetime against the Sharks, he's 2-1. And they do give the goal to Jeff Friesen, his 2nd of the game, 13th of the year, from Michael Sikora at 2:40. The Sharks have scored 9 straight goals in 2 games. Here tonight, it is 6-0. And a centering pass by Odgers went through the crease. Well, the San Jose Sharks won't forget their last visit to Winnipeg. Odgers' shot tests Roussel, but he comes up with the save, and the sarcastic cheer comes up from the crowd.
They got made misbehave. They finally put a goalkeeper who can stop one. I think that was that kind of a cheer from the fans here in Winnipeg.
Tverdovsky gives it up for a moment, but the Winnipeg Jets recover. Here's Janney with Drake. As they come to the blue line, Korolev throws it toward the net, but it was blocked by Bodger. Now a pass just out of the reach of Kozlov. And the Sharks clicking on all cylinders tonight here in Winnipeg. 2 for Shalhoub, 2 for Friesen. Goals by Turcotte, the newcomer, and Owen Nolan.
You're going to be giving me that Shalhoub the rest of the year?
All year. Well, all 3 weeks of the year.
I know when you get on something, it takes you a long time to get over it.
I'll have a long summer to get over it. Here's Racine. Over to Bodger. Kozlov turns from traffic, now looks to the right. Nolan there, and he'll just get it deep as they change up.
In a game like this, I mean, they're just pouring over the bench for the Sharks. They can't wait to get them into the game.
Here's Darren Shannon. Good speed, but a good poke check by Turcotte on the boards. Now Stapleton wins a puck, tries to get it toward the net. He did. Hervé may have touched that as it comes back out to center. Stapleton gives it to Tverdovsky. The young Russian headmans it for Shannon. Sikora getting back for the Sharks. He just muscles it by Zhamnov. Kept along the boards by Moore. And now Zhamnov at center ice. Here's Stapleton. As Irbe will wait for Jay Moore to come around. The Jets change up. And you've got to mention, I think, to be fair, that without Keith Tkachuk, this is a different Winnipeg team tonight.
We got a penalty coming up to the Sharks when we come back.
In creating the Chrysler Sebring convertible, we didn't just chop the top off a coupe. Sebring's new from the ground up. It's different from other convertibles. It's cab forward, of course. In fact, it has more rear legroom and more trunk space than any other convertible. Sebring also has a rigid frame to help keep it quiet. And it gets very different when you look at everything it comes with, including the price. That's the biggest difference of all.
What do you call 150 schools in 8 Bay Area counties, traveling through 75 cities, 4 area codes, and over 800 freeway miles? We call it just another Friday night at the office. High school sports focus. Friday night at 11, Saturday morning at 10.
Jeff Reason to serve the Sharks bench penalty for too many men on the ice.
Well, we talked about how anxious they are to get out there, and not a night that Nikolai Habibulin wants to soon forget.
23 years old. He's still a guy with a great future in the league. 12 saves tonight on, well, more shots, 18, and the Sharks now with 19 shots.
This is his 43rd game, so he is still the #1 goalkeeper for the Winnipeg Jets.
So they're back on the power play for the 5th straight time. Of course, they're 0 for 4. They have 6 shots on goal on the power play so far, the Jets do.
I tell you, there's so many great individual efforts by this Shark team tonight. I mean, and that has just rubbed off on everybody. Every line is going, and every defenseman is playing a very solid game back there.
Stemmer, I want you to start thinking 3 stars here now, because you got a tough job tonight.
Yeah, I could give a lot more than that out.
Doan behind the net. As Bodger takes his man, Doan will come back around almost to the point. Now he cuts in, gives back to Tverdovsky. Irbe, the kick save. In the corner, it's King. Good job by Racine. He's been solid all game long, and Baker clears it down.
Notice that Racine playing the body on King. Takes him out, puck loose, Sharks dump it down. And you see the penalty time, 55 seconds left here in the Jet power play.
Owen Nolan can afford to take his time and then sends it down the ice. Rochelle settling it behind the Winnipeg net. Well, the Jets come off this game against red-hot Philadelphia here on Friday. They've got a tough road to go to try and make the playoffs.
You talk about the Flyers being here. They're up here in the press box watching this. Yeah. Is this the same team that we played the other night in Philadelphia?
Sure doesn't look like the same one to us. Well, it isn't. A lot of guys are gone. Irbe, tough puck to handle in front, but he is right on top of it. Drake was there looking for something that might have come to his stick, but Irbe on his chest, able to smother that. Tonight's Sharks game is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
Well, let's look at this close call in front of the net as the Dallas Drake is going to be the one who's going to get a scoring opportunity. There's the puck bouncing around. There's Tom Peterson. See, Tom Peterson did a good job of smacking Dallas Drake's stick right there. Drake was coming in to pick up that loose puck, but a good defensive play by Tom Peterson to just knock that stick at Drake, and Archer Irbe falls on the puck to get the stoppage in play.
18 seconds left in the Friesen, or in the team penalty being served by Friesen. Craig Janney and Darren Turcotte, and the two guys traded across, not just across town, across the arena.
No, across country. Huh? We are in Canada. Did you forget that?
No, but I meant they just had to go from basically one dressing room instead of the other.
That's today.
Newman shot, Irbe the save, rebound. Janney gives back to the point. Newman in front. That one went off. Peterson skated wide of the net. Finley Knocked down by Drake and cleared out by Turcotte. And the penalty over as Friesen's back on up at center ice. Jets trying to jump on this loose puck. Peterson gets there but can't keep it away. Janney centers. Korolev was there but couldn't haul it in. Now Korolev dumps it behind the net. Drake there. He looks. Janney's in front. Let the puck cleared by Peterson around the board. Donovan working against Korolev. Now Ragnarsson digs in too. Donovan gets it out to Turcotte. He'll flip a pass up the right side. Smart play there. He was able to get the line changed.
You notice that play there, that skirmish on the boards? There's four bodies there, and the puck comes loose. Who jumps on that loose puck? But a Shark. They're hungry and determined, and they're just outplaying the Winnipeg Jets in every department in this hockey game.
Here's Kilger. He throws a dangerous puck in front of the net to Manson. You know, the way things are going for Winnipeg tonight, that one just as easily could have got in. Baker trying to set up cancel, but Manson made a nice recovery to block that with the shaft of his stick. As Denny Chassé gets some rare ice time, but it's knocked from him. McKenzie fires it deep into the Shark zone. 11:34 left in the third period. It is 6-0 Sharks.
That was a good see. Michael Sikora coming back to challenge the puck area because Jamie Baker was coming back to help. That helps a defenseman stand up when he knows that a forward's coming back to back check.
11:19 left to go. It's all teal tonight.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab.
What do Save Mart supermarkets and the Sharks have in common? Ice.
Here's the face-off.
Fresh seafood on ice.
Wide aisles.
The pass is down the center.
Ooh, lots of room.
Fresh meats.
Very fresh meat.
Fresh produce.
Hey, 3 out of 4 is not bad.
Save Mart supermarkets. Quality so good, we guarantee it.
In a network of computers, it's not the MIPS and chips and whatnot that's most important. It's what goes on between the people using them that makes them really powerful. A reminder from Sun Microsystems, the network computing company.
Well, the Sharks Summer Hockey School's coming up. It's not too far away. The kids camp June 17th through July 3rd for youngsters aged 5 through 17. Then a special adult camp in June from the 14th through the 16th. If you'd like information on the Sharks Summer Hockey Schools, just dial it up 408-999-5844. Randy Hunt and Pete Stemkowski back live in Pete's hometown. Our last ever visit to Winnipeg as the Jets move to Phoenix for next season. And there's got to be a tear in your eyes, Stemmer.
Did I treat you to a good dinner tonight or what?
Oh, absolutely.
The best.
Top drawer stuff in the press room.
It's the only way to go. If you can't go first class, you don't go at all. I requested that.
I know you did. Nolan in front, cleared away by Manson. Now Zhamnov has trouble finding that one. And the Sharks get back deep as Yves Racine controls in the corner, up for Kozlov. Now Victor across the blue line to center ice, throws it across to Dahlin. Oak just touches it deep into the zone, and the Sharks will get some fresh legs out there with 10:33 left to go in the third.
Nice crisp pass coming out, Racine turning, Kozlov making the turn between the two defensemen. Sharks come out of their zone.
And icing called.
One thing we talk about is the Sharks, because the reason they give up so much goals is they spend so much time in their own zone. That has not happened in this hockey game tonight. Those defensemen are turning and looking for that winger that's open and making that first pass out of their zone.
And there is Jan Shalun, and I talked to him yesterday, said he phoned home to Czechoslovakia after he scored his first NHL goal. I have a feeling, Stemmer, he's going to make another phone call tonight.
Okay, well, keeps going like this, he's going to be making a lot of phone calls.
Just keep an open line.
Yeah.
3 goals on 3 NHL shots for Jan Shalun. That's going to be a tough stat to look up, but somewhere at the NHL offices in New York, they have that stat.
I'll make the call in the morning and find out and let me know.
I'll call from Calgary. We get some time off there. Here's Shane Doan behind the Sharks net. Gets a rough ride from Ragnarsson. And Turcotte trying to clear it up the wing. Back it comes to Tom Peterson. Jets out shooting the Sharks right now, 24-20. And Urbe sweeping that one aside. Eastwood centers it, but right to Billy Peltonen. And he'll send it down. Billy Peltonen, Stemmer, has been on the ice for 4 of the Sharks' goals tonight.
Well, you know, one of those youngsters is going to get a lot of playing time because you got to start grading these people at the end of the year. And you got guys in Kansas City who are playing well. You got to see what they do at this level.
Here's Donovan. His shot stopped by Roussel. And it's Telerdovsky working it back out. Here's Janney. Sidestepped away from Racine, but then lost his edge. Dave Brown takes an open ice hit from Dallas Drake and didn't like it. Drake goes to the front of the net. Dave Brown gives him a shove toward the crease. Back it comes to Manson. Manson winds up. That one goes wide and around the horn and all the way back into the Winnipeg zone. But Dave Brown took that number of Dallas Drake, and now he's looking back at him as Brown goes to the bench.
Boy, that look said it all. Maybe next time, big guy.
Here's Manson. His shot saved. Urbe gives a little rebound. Comes out of his glove, but it's cleared down by Odgers. Now, Manson fakes. Wrist shot. That one misses. There's a glove on the ice that's now in the Sharks' net. Finley scooping it around for Drake. Picked up by Racine, and he'll send it down. This will go right on the net.
Yeah, Urbe got a little break there. He went to dive on that head first and just squished out of his hand, and no jet there to take advantage of that.
Here's Janney. Nice pass up to the line. Gets it back. Now the spinorama, but the pass for Chassé broken up. Great tip by Ragnarsson. And Marcus drives it into the zone. 8:05 left, and the Sharks flawless up to this point, leading 6-0. Finley up for McKenzie. Sikora got in the way. Now Michael throws it over to Ragnarsson.
The Sharks are going to win this hockey game. The one thing they got to play for is the guy between the pipes.
Here's Dahlin. Wanted Kozlov, but he was occupied. Sikora has to get back on his horse and escape to the Shark zone where the Jets go offside. Boy, it's been a rough night for Winnipeg. Sharks loving it. We'll be back.
Flying to San Diego for business? If these 28 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines to San Diego, maybe this will. Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline.
One word in advertising always seems to get people's attention. Free! One teeny tiny word. Free! So when Great Western Bank wanted to offer something special to all those people who may be watching their own bank go away, we suggested the concept of free be used in the offer. They agreed. So if you have your paycheck direct deposited into a regular checking account, it will be, guess what? Free of monthly service fees. Call Great Western today. Why, even the phone call is
This Sharks game brought to you by the Gatorade Company. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
That's part of the crowd here tonight, 10,800. And if you're a loyal Jet fan, then
hey, look at that.
That's the calm before the storm, I guess. Between those two teams are going at it for the playoff positions here in the Western Conference.
That could be an omen of what's to come as you look at the shot totals through this point. 7:28 left to go. Here's Owen Nolan. And Roussel's going to just hold that for a face-off in the Jet zone. You know, Stemmer, it's tough here in Winnipeg. Yeah, they're going for the playoffs, but everybody here knows that it's going to be the end of hockey in Winnipeg as the Jets will head down to Phoenix for next season. There's Roussel and his career numbers against the Sharks, 2-1 with a 3.13 goals against average. As we said, they got him in a trade with Philadelphia that sent Tim Cheveldae out to the Flyers. Finley back deep in the Jet zone. And Dahlin will tip this on to the Winnipeg bench.
What were you saying before? About moving to Phoenix? I didn't catch that.
Well, just talking about
how tough it is.
It's tough for the fans here, knowing that the team's leaving.
Well, you know, there's 10,000, almost 11,000 at this hockey game. They're going to get a team in the International Hockey League next year, and you know, the guys who play here like it here. You know, I know the winters are very severe, but it's a very warm town in many other ways. And there in Turcotte, I like playing with the Jets and going to make the adjustment here into the Shark uniform, and he certainly has here tonight with a goal and an assist against his former team.
Newman into center ice. Now Jamnov fighting his way in front. Then he's knocked down. Puck is underneath Urbe. And he'll hold it for a face-off as Alexei Jamnov showed some determination there trying to get to the net, but he just couldn't.
But there you see the kind of confidence that Artur Zerber is playing with. Once a goalie goes out and commits, he has to stay. Now, normally a goalkeeper that's a little bit, his confidence down a little bit, he may hesitate, but he goes right in there head first and gets to stop it.
Well, there are some of the banners that will, I would think, remain up here. Some of them at the Winnipeg Arena. Thomas Steen and Bobby Hull, the two Jets whose sweaters have been retired in their history, and some of the banners from their championships in the WHA. They actually have two Stanley Cup banners up here, Stemmer. I don't know. Do you remember the 1896 Winnipeg Victorias?
Of course. I was at the parade. Wise guy.
They also won it in 1901.
That one I missed. I was in Europe. Actually, I went to the beach.
The one day when there was good beach weather. Turcotte shot, tipped at the side, and cleared up to the blue line by Doan, but the Sharks doing everything right tonight. They control this game with 6:15 left, and right now they're controlling the flow of the play here in the third period. The Jets are going to go winless now in their last 6 games as they really stagger down the stretch here trying to stay in the playoff hunt. Racine at center. He'll just dump off and get to the bench as the Sharks make the change. Jeff Friesen into forecheck. He's had a strong night for the Sharks.
Well, we're in Western Canada, and he's a Western Canadian kid.
Janney turns back to the point. Now gives the pass. Drake gets it deeper to Korolev. And broken up again. And now Korolev takes it in an offside position. 5:36 left.
Well, you know, that you talk about them leaving here and Canada's not being that high. There's still some people, a lot of people have left, but there's still some faithful Jet fans staying here. They have had a pretty good home record. 18 wins, 14 losses, and 3 ties for 39 points. They've only had 11 wins on the road, so Jet team has played very well here at the Winnipeg Arena this year.
Now you look at the talent they have with Kilger and Tverdovsky coming over, and Jamnov and Kachuk and Javi Bulin. They've got the core of what could be a very good team in a few years if they can continue to grow as a group. Korolev dishes back for Muni, and he played it right off Newmanen, and the Sharks are going to get it cleared. Newmanen will just lift it in. Tom Peterson gets a glove on that. 5 minutes left with the Sharks leading 6-0. They've done their damage equally in each of the periods. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 here in the third. Urbe, a routine glove stop, and for a guy who hasn't played since November to call anything routine is quite a night. 6-0.
Nice tactic. Coochie wiggle, coochie coochie. Hey, check this out. Oh, look at that. What you got?
When just a cold one isn't cold enough, call for the refreshing taste of cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Nice tat. Is that right?
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
Oh, she's got to notice me when she comes by. I mean, look at me. What's not to notice? I'm here. I tell you, if you want to feel good, you got to look good. And if I'm going to run good, I got to feel good. Look at me. I'm designed for a high-octane gas. I love it. That's what I need. This Chevron Supreme with Tech Run. I mean, it makes me run like a champ. It's all good stuff. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
No premium outperforms Chevron Supreme with Tech Run. Chevron, simply smarter.
I mean, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I feel stupendous.
Jim Wiley has to be happy, and I think Pete deserves some congratulations, too, for the work he's done with the team. It's been a difficult spot for Wiley. When he took over, the team was, for all intents and purposes, out of the hunt. It's been tough.
Well, he knows the exact situation he's in. Nobody has to spell it out to him. He gets the team prepared, does his utmost every game out to help them win, and see what happens at the end of the season as far as his status is concerned.
Talk about transitions for him. Now he's got a lineup that's minus the points of Shepard, Janney, and Miller. And look what the Sharks do. They come out and maybe play one of, if not their best games of the year.
But Randy, they have had some good games this year. The problem with the Sharks is they have to put 3 or 4 of these together in a row if they're really going to be a team that's going to make some noise in this National Hockey League.
Here's Denny Chassé for the Jets. Brings it all the way around. Tip free to Manson, and Tansel can't clear it out. Chassé will pull back to the point. Off Odger's skate, it comes to Ragnarsson, and the Sharks will get it out here. Tansel slaps it in. Quick line change here as the Sharks get fresh legs on.
All you do is play the lines. Get the puck over your blue line, get over the red line, shoot it in, and that'll chew up the clock.
Here's Chad Kilger. Takes the big wide turn at center ice, gives it back to Teppo Numminen. Now Shannon tried to headman it for Stapleton, and it was tipped. Racine gets back there. He takes a check, but comes out with the puck.
I'll tell you, Racine has played a whale of a game for the Sharks. Look at that, the puck's still staying with him.
Without doubt, his best game.
Yeah, he's been very physical, good offensively. A real fine game for Yves Racine. I could say for the rest of the defense, too. I mean, if you haven't given up any goals up to this point, somebody's been doing something right.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Sikora tips it around, but it goes to Shannon. Now behind the net, and Racine sidestepped a check from Stapleton and came up with the puck again. Here's Dolan. Owen Nolan waiting on the right wing. Nolan will just cross center ice and get it deep.
There it is. Dump it in. Get some fresh people out there.
2:45 to go now. King wants Doan, but it's broken up by Turcotte. And even though Darren Turcotte got traded out of the playoff race, he's got to be raising his eyebrows after this, saying, hey, this might not turn out to be so bad in the long run. Here's Shalhoub. But Roussel's able to get out to poke it away. Then Shalhoub is hauled down. We've got a penalty. It's going to be Click Muni going off, and the Sharks will get their first power play of the game with 2:18 left.
Gotta like Shalhoub from the blue line in. I mean, the book on him was he could score goals. Scored goals down in Kansas City. He's got 3 up here in the National Hockey League. When he sees that puck and he sees an opening, his eyes just widen and away he goes. There he comes dancing in there looking for that loose puck, and Muni had to pull him down to prevent Jan Shalhoub from getting the hat trick in this hockey game.
Now the first power play for the Sharks, who are ranked 17th in the league. You see Winnipeg standing considerably better at 9th. But it's, one of those rare nights when the Sharks really don't need their power play to operate.
Well, here's with Jim Wiley, a nice thing to do here. Shalhoub was near the end of his shift there. He's got 2 goals in this game. We got 2:18 left in regulation. Sharks on a power play. Like to see the youngster possibly go for that 3rd goal in this game.
Turcotte will take the face-off. Back to Racine. Nice behind the back pass. Now in front, Friesen, and that goes off Roussel wide.
No, Friesen got away with one. He looked at the referee. He looked back at the ref.
He pulled Drake down, and Drake with it now to center ice for Janney. Janney does a little button hook move as he crossed the blue line. Darren Turcotte will just leave it for Doug Bodger. Minute 50 left to go in the game. And the Sharks are going to win this one by a bunch. Turcotte pulls up, gives a look over to Racine. He lets one go. Roussel's got it. Rebound. And that's behind Shalhoub. He couldn't see it.
He got his arm on it.
Here's Shalhoub. Behind the net. Nobody in front. He gives off to the side for Turcotte. Racine, one-timer. Roussel's got a rebound. Friesen scores! Hat trick for Jeff Friesen. Friesen, 7-0.
We were focused so much on Shalhoub, and Friesen had 2 goals. Another one of those guys we're going for it is Friesen, who's just had a dynamite game here. He's been all over the ice. Main ingredient for him is speed. Uses it. Look how he pulls this puck around on the power play. Makes no mistake. And Jeff Friesen gets the hat trick. Here's the shot from the point. The save by the goalkeeper and just pulling it around, tucking it into the empty net. The power play goal. And Jeff Friesen, his first National Hockey League hat trick.
And the hats, a couple of them come out onto the ice.
They didn't even go out there to pick them up. Look at this one lying on the ice there.
Maybe Jeff's mom is here.
Yeah, right.
Cancel battling behind the net as we're down to a minute left. There's the one head. And Dvorsky went back and picked it up as Tom Peterson works it back up to center ice. Turcotte and Racine got assists on the goal by Jeff Friesen, a power play goal. Racine's first point of the game, but he has been outstanding defensively. As the Jets go offside, we get a whistle with 44.8 seconds.
You know, you look at Darren Turcotte. Great game for him. We talked about Racine, how effective he's been. Michael Sikora back there, very quiet, a very steady game. Ulf Dahlin, Victor Kozlov. Look along that whole bench. Owen Nolan, physically, a couple of good hard checks, scores the goal in this game. So, you know, one guy starts it, it just spills on to everything. Winning is very contagious, and this has been a great effort that has spilt over from that third period in Boston the other night that has just carried over here in this hockey game tonight against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, this will be the goal for the Jets to break up the shutout.
Right from the face-off as it's a long shot by Manson, and I don't know whether that was going along the ice or Artur Zerbe just wasn't prepared for this one. It's a long shot by Manson. Let's see what happens. It hits the ice, and actually Zerbe was deep in the net there, and I'm not sure he was quite ready for that. And it's going to be Dave Manson spoiling the shutout for Zerbe with 37 seconds left in regulation.
So Dave Manson gets a late goal here to spoil a perfect night, but still a great effort by Zerbe tonight and the Sharks as Manson tries to backhand it in front. Now behind the net, Peterson with it. Dahlin crosses center ice and dumps it in.
Well, you know, you hate to lose something like that, but the important thing is the team winning the game. And I think that you have to be very happy with the performance of Artur Zerbe tonight. He was stopped 27 of 28 shots, and he got the necessary work that he needed in this hockey game tonight.
And the game is over. And the San Jose Sharks' final visit to Winnipeg will be a very memorable one. Artur Zerbe has a smile underneath the mask there. Yeah, he's a little upset that he lost the shutout, but he's mobbed by his teammates as Jim Wiley looks on, and the Sharks finish their run in Winnipeg with a big 7-1 win.
Let's give Jim Wiley credit. He had this team ready to go. They were sharp from the opening face-off in this hockey game, dominated in every department, and a very satisfying victory for that man right in the middle there, Artur Zerbe, being congratulated by his teammates. They're very happy for him.
Let's look at the third period scoring, brought to you by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you. 4 goals in the third period. Sharks already led 4-0 when Jan Shalhoub got his second of the game, third of the year from Ragnarsson and Peltonen. Then Jeff Friesen, his 13th from Sikora at 2:40. A couple of quick goals there by the Sharks put them up 6-0. Then Friesen completed the hat trick with his 14th of the season at 18:42. Turcotte and Racine assisting as Turcotte had a 3-point first night for the Sharks. And then Dave Manson spoiling the shutout at 19:22 from Tverdovsky. And there's your final score. The San Jose Sharks win their first game of the road trip, 7-1. We'll be back at the Winnipeg Arena in a moment.
Situated in one of the most beautiful areas in the west foothills of Gilroy, above a challenging golf course surrounded by old oaks with spectacular views of the beautiful Santa Clara Valley, is Gill Properties, where we can build the home of your dreams to your specifications with financing available. Work in San Jose, play in Monterey, because you'll be just minutes from either, with lots priced from $160. Call Gill Properties at 408-243-0712 now and make an appointment to see Gill Properties.
Hey, check out the Pontiac Sunfire roaring across sunny California. Now, guess how much extra the dual airbags, ABS, and CD player are? Go ahead, guess. We've got time. That's right, 0, nothing, the big O. And now you can get your new Sunfire for a great no back and forth value price that'll really stop you in your tracks. Sunfire is here. Test drive a real set of wheels you can really afford. Just $13,495 at your Silicon Valley Pontiac dealer today.
A big night for the Sharks tonight here in Winnipeg as they roll over the Jets 7-1. And tonight's game has been brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi. By Miller Genuine Draft Light. With MGD Light, this time it's your time. By Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every seat of every flight everywhere it flies, the low-fare airline. By Great Western's family of companies, now backed by over $44 billion in assets. Great Western will always be there. And by your Northern California Toyota dealers, who invite you to visit your local Toyota dealer today. Coming up, our final post-game show.
Marriage? Woo. Are you sure, man?
Yeah, everything's gonna be all right.
No more women. Time to burn the little old black book. No more blondes, brunettes, redheads. No more hanging out with the guys.
Maybe Steve can play quarterback. When just a cold one isn't cold enough, crack open the refreshing taste of cold, filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
There you go. Thanks. I told you she was great.
Stay cool.
A year ago, this was me. So I leased a Volkswagen Golf and headed for the hills. $199 a month. Very doable. Rule number 1. Only tourists can afford to live in a ski town. The rest of us commute. It's got front-wheel drive, so it's a great snow car. Up here, you need your car to do everything because you do everything. Maybe I just should have gotten it white. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Some places make you lug heavy items to the register. At Orchard, all you have to carry is this. Then drive to the pickup station where they'll load it for you. Orchard, complete hardware and garden. Just go to Orchard. It's easy.
Final score of 7-1. Randy Hahn along with the Stemmer back here up high at the Winnipeg Arena. And, Pete, they don't come much better than that.
No, I think as far as skating and moving the puck, this is probably the best effort for the Sharks this season. And as far as their defensive zone coverage, excellent. I think they gave Arthur Zerbe great protection. Arthur Zerbe did play a good game, but boy, this was a very spirited bunch of San Jose Sharks who came out onto the ice of the Winnipeg Arena tonight. They dominated in every department, and they got to feel very good in winning this hockey game by a score of 7-1.
Well, let's see if the Stemmer knew what he was talking about. Let's look back at Pete's keys, and I guess you did, Pete.
Well, I think that deadline, there was a lot of pressure off this team. They played very well. I think they did get on the Jets' defense. They got some turnovers, scored some goals, and they did shoot the puck. They got some shots against Happy Buellin, and they were able to convert. So I think that those keys did pay off for the Sharks here tonight.
Yeah, and with all the changes lately, with the trades of Janney and Miller and Shepard and the coming onto the team of Darren Turcotte, I think that this was very good timing for a game like this because clearly the Sharks have nothing to play for from a standpoint of a playoff spot, but you still want to try and build from this last 3 weeks.
Well, and absolutely. And we talk about what's down on the farm. I mean, you've got youngsters, and they produce down at the minor league level. You want to see what they do at the major league level. Pelletin's getting a shot up here. Victor Kozlov, who hasn't had a lot of ice time in recent games, he'll get a lot more. He got a lot more tonight. And, of course, Jan Shalhoub, we knew that he was gifted as far as offense is concerned. He's really showed it here in the National Hockey League. So there's a lot of decisions that the Sharks are going to have to make in the offseason, and one area that's going to have to be is with the youngsters, and I think it was very encouraging, this game tonight, the way some of these youngsters played.
Well, the beauty of tonight's game was that you had the nice blend of play by the youngsters and the veterans. And the veteran figures in our Toyota play of the game, the newest San Jose Shark, Darren Turcotte.
Well, he almost takes this one coast to coast. Turcotte left your screen along the boards. There's Manson trying to keep it in. A nice spear there by Darren Turcotte. And now look at the speed he puts on. This is one thing that he does well. He skates, motor's good, goes around the defenseman, Davidovsky there, Habibulin leaning to one side, and there's the celebration by Turcotte to get the second goal of the game for the San Jose Sharks.
Turcotte's first goal as a Shark, our Toyota play of the game. And we'll be back to check out Pete's 3 stars when we come back to Winnipeg.
Ready for the new menu, Chief?
Hold my calls. Let her rip.
Presenting the Over a Buck menu.
It's supposed to be under a buck.
You know, it said under a buck in your memo, but I figured it was a typo. Because I looked at all that great stuff on the menu and thought, no way that's under a buck. Kooky misunderstanding.
Fix it.
Extra selection, extra savings, extra value means the Escort Extravaganza at your local Ford dealer. Now through April 2nd, you get $1,000 cash back on a new Ford Escort, America's best small car value. Yeah, choose the popular 3-door or the sporty Escort GT and get $1,000 cash back from Ford. Plus save even more with special dealer incentives. It's the Escort Extravaganza with $1,000 cash back and special dealer incentives. Going on now through April 2nd at your participating Ford dealer.
Back in Winnipeg and Stemmer, we probably need a half-hour post-game show to talk about all the good performances by the Sharks tonight. Let's start talking about Artur Zerbe. This was a huge game for him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and he got the work that he wanted. He had a lot of shots. His defense helped him a lot, and with a goalkeeper, a lot of it's head games. I mean, you got to believe that you can stop that piece of rubber coming at you. And I know that he doubted himself, and that's been a problem with Artur Zerbe. But he got a good, strong game tonight, so I know that he's got to be very pleased with his performance, and so is the entire organization.
No question about that, as Urbe was solid until that final few seconds when Dave Manson scored the long-range goal to break up the shutout. But nonetheless, a very impressive appearance for Urbe since November. He had not played due to a series of injuries. Time now for the 3-star selection. Stemmer's been thinking hard on this one because there were so many good efforts by the San Jose Sharks tonight. Brought to you as always by Miller Genuine Draft. Crack open the refreshing taste of cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and stay cool.
There were so many good Sharks. Let's welcome the newest great game goal, 2 assists, 3rd star, Darren Turcotte. The number 2 star of the hockey game, couple of goals, and boy, I'll tell you, he has shown us some exciting play. Jan Shalhoub, 2 stars, best player on the ice tonight. He got the hat trick, played both ends of the ice very effectively. Number 1 star of the Sharks, Jeff Friesen.
Turcotte, Shalhoub, and Friesen, your 3 stars, and we'll be back to wrap things up from the Peg.
Hi, I'm Jamie Baker of the San Jose Sharks, inviting you to this year's Sharks Fest. Come out to the San Jose Arena and meet your favorite players up close and personal. Plus, there'll be a lot of fun games for the whole family. Sharks wives and coaches will also be there. The admission includes a free game and autograph coupon. Proceeds from Sharks Fest go to the Sharks Foundation, benefiting many non-profit organizations helping our community. I hope to see you at Sharks Fest this year, presented by Adobe Systems, Saturday, March 30th.
Hey!